Welcome back to the Dialectic Space podcast, the Bantaba Dialogue. And obviously, it's with my brother again, as we often do every Saturday. We come to you to talk to you about current affairs in the Gambia, and today is no exception. Omar Ibn Yadi Nimbara.
Alright, kondoman kekendo.
Guy
Wala
Bruvut.
bit
Guy Bruvut.
the best town in the Gambia.
So called Dubai.
Yeah. I can say a lot of pull over there. But I still agree. We are the Dubai of the Gambia because
I don't
in
know how
every
far that is
aspect
coming.
until there.
Listen, do you guys have electricity? That's my only question.
It's a good start for a conversation today. Anyway. Gaya kurao na mero index aga kamane ko butu mala fo mane be keri manga inde bolo no no I don't come in dollar kalo muna na kurao mansot.
I know.
Kurao no
It's
koto bale.
I don't come
I
mira right
find
now
it
nya
funny,
for Omar.
man.
Make I understand no.
Yeah.
You know ko ni mo because diamu no people don't have
Yeah.
internet. They don't have electricity. I don't even know what sort of society moral the science are intending.
Yeah. It's a good thing to have a conversation on and to know what exactly it is. But yeah, look, Gambia electricity system is it's quite complex, yet it's something that could in a way or another be solved, but it's not been solved since then. I'm gonna know more been alaba. Internal mutuanga and
Oh
to
no, nte biko from bodu sign. Nte kai ni min nata enjoy nje. Nte lben na kacha dadla. Sonko Gambia nyanda kele na lunto de bi. Sheriffo Sonko, Brikama area council. We're supposed to have him, and he has agreed to come on, but we're not going to wait. We have a lot to cover, and I think it would be important to begin with electricity. Kurankoni. Obviously, Gambia has been experiencing. I think this is not erratic anymore. This is literally power outage in Gambia. If people are missing electricity for more than 10 hours, that is a huge problem. So people don't have access to electricity. To think about it, to put this into context, Kabrin Tolngana independent sort of for B, you can count the amount of or the number of times Gambia has had a stable electricity in say an entire country coverage sort of electricity. There's always been problems for as long as Ntengan Nabalwolong. As a Gambian, I remember vividly there were several nights at home where you either have to study or you have to do something. Kurambika sort of. So I feel as though what is happening in Gambia currently is not like new. I think in many ways it also brings out a systemic problem that we've been having for a very long time with our electricity supply system. A system that is hugely dependent on foreign electricity supply. We import most of our electricity from outside to the Gambia, and for a very long time we've not really sever ourselves from that system, such that we are electricity dependent on ourselves to have electricity in our country, but also explore the opportunities of privatization. But we're going to get into those details. But Omar, what do you see? What do you feel? I think we can begin from there because although Mantra Gambia, but it affects us too. What is the feeling of what you're seeing in terms of electricity shortage in the country?
Oh, that's a great one. I just want to pick it up from where you caught it, like Mandaraje, but we affected by it. That
Yeah.
coming from Mole Wala Nyendeko. Gambia's problem, even whereas you're migrating, you migrate with the problems
Mhm.
because you still have your family, you got your relatives, you got either your properties or one thing or another that are still within the country. Hana tara wati jefanang itere kanun teolo ni badi mo lebe jefanang. So electricity is a basic necessity. It is not something that one could choose. It's an option. We've passed that, age and time. So member caring, its importance cannot be overemphasized in a sense that in every aspect of our socioeconomic activities, power and electricity is very much necessary. Karala la sulata kurangon la kela do po keno. Tabiro for the most part now people use you might need electricity
That's
for it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
for your refrigerators and keeping your food and all of that is sulata, electricity. So even the water system that runs in some houses, another thing will be able that actually needs electricity. But again, Gambia when there is electricity shortage, it also compounds to water shortage. So I don't know why these two have that relationship where when one is absent, the other is. But in our households, we understand the relationship because near borehole components and is electric driven. When there is no electricity, evidently there'll be no water.
Yeah.
But let's look at it from this point. Ani hadama ding wala balu woto dama, not looking at it from the aspect of businesses and all of that. People go to bathroom, people go to toilet and all of that. More be sal jilo model, all be sula da jio. Lana nung kurang man shodo la dol to jio buka shodo. Koton to la hada maya fon timari mo buko la keno. Ala bato fon akola nasin di moloma. So kuranta ya banko kang is basically depriving people of being able to even worship, being able to actually ease themselves, like their basic human needs are actually affected. Go into the business sector. Imagine within the period, me along go salo nyati long all along, more business or salo watola, people whose businesses are very much seasonal, are very much dependent on festivities and there are periodic events that where they could make a lot more money and then, wale ke samba for wate kotek or for wate young. But ite aje go wato be kono kurango man soto, ite la doku man kenwa, ela doku tardende, ela doku nasindi. Even many fangola bagasol be able they did not get that satisfaction in what they actually brought to you to actually either make their clothing or some other things. Many kara nyolo samba juru la masingol to I know that food becomes an issue because wole be nin kurang man shoto wolte juru no la foni tara ngai mai kulungo tara budung ngai nanyol nimba waka ka wado mina budung ya tulong fa ko janno. So all of these things in a way or another, have compounding effects, both socioeconomically and of course the basic activities of humankind in a decent society. Gambia lombangu de mi ya lonko mulka wuli talam fula suto la just kela bidon wala be fandi giolda.
Now, la
Gambia
jami fana
lombangu de mi
bekala.
ya lonko ekaje yalo ni 3 a.m. 4 a.m. we got assign on kurango nada. When people have to charge their phones, they need and oka minke wala nyinto ko sunyaro kalafa watu molla because the bobe killing.
Look at this dude,
Kuriya intajiri ya kalafa.
And Sumana Minta ya stabbed to death. I
Eso
think.
nyasi exactly.
Yes, oh, yes,
You know.
yeah. So
Right.
sad.
So you realize that Kurantayala impacts is just huge. It's nothing that is excusable and nothing that somebody could explain. And funnily, there are two aspects to it, or the two commentators I've heard them spoke about it. That's the president and also the minister of information. Ako itolebe katakuol beke kaneka ko Gambia does not have interrupted services here and there. But ako hani hada madungo fango ka sala. Is it telling us that the system is sick? The system is so incapable, it is sick. Therefore, it needs prognosis for people to know and deliver this country from the hands of sickness that it is infected with. Because new control yoko hani hada madingolo ka sala. These are technical issues and nobody have control over technical issues. That is lack of knowledge. Because technicians are there to take care of technical issues.
Yeah.
You actually get mechanical engineers to take care of mechanical problems. You have generators, but of course you have technicians to make sure that these equipments are functioning and where they know that in a lifespan, they should be able to give you those prognoses to say that problem fault or whereas there is an unforeseen fault that came out, they should be able to diagnose it within a period and of course proper solutions to it. That is what we have this employed folks within that institution to be doing.
Yeah.
So ni wala wo ma woke no eda ka fon tole ko hane hada madungo ka sasala wala nyinte ko Gambia la masakunda be sasala kono. Woto sasala be nawek mi yalon ko it needs to be cured. But who is there to cure it? The people that we have within the house cannot cure it. So how long should Gambians continue to be a distressors? Because nyimu kula te mi yalon ko moro kuranta ya tilikili da madama is very dangerous and deadly. How about if this is happening in the middle of, probably, a private clinic where, surgery la.
Operational. Hmm.
Because it all coming for how the major hospital. Of course, the major hospitals are not the only ones that are actually conducting surgery. Surgeries are done in other places as well, including, private clinics. So unless those people have standby generators here and there, which they're supposed to have, but when will we have
Alebe ekokan.
uninterrupted services in the
Mute
country?
the one ebe ekokan.
No problem. Ani ka fo mole ko mbe kurang di ka mol bella. Imagine even within ntolla nyum kombo bere bere la moro mol kata fen ko la sang mol kata polol sanne masa kunda man kurang din tolla de kurang man ke firiti nga kurang sanne nga jole foko pare hani polol mi yalon ko tolla nyanta lo ni la tolla kata polol sanna ko dolula. So what exactly is the service that the government is providing? Ye mita sangdo bi jadi we mita sanna fay modol dukulom pour ya soto juna. But often nim kurampolo man for that je tolta for dandila je, and that becomes their responsibility to provide those services, and you only have to pay for the services. But even the provision of the services, you have to go and buy those poles.
Yeah.
Ni Murunde ko mole ko rural electrification. These are great projects, but at the end of the day, it's about providing those services to the people. Gambia long bank up till now, we can module for 12 hours, yeah, mala 12 hours, as if molo ba sinke kana puru ka kurang sort of bankoka.
Yeah.
So we cannot continue to be dependent on these generators, and then you turn around and tell people, no, we have enough. Na dole fama bije reserve wala bije president wale ofontoli. Now, Murunda ko, we have, Afanya, the good news is no news. That they've been doing a lot of good things, but kuring keta drum Moliavoko, Senegal is also, we getting
Well, like,
electricity from
yeah.
Senegal, but Senegal is also taking electricity from us. I think people need to explain certain things to the president in the most comprehensive way. Because the OMVG, if that is what he's referring to, there is no way Gambia has enough electricity to supply Senegal. Now, if it is connecting other villages in Senegal through the OMVG, Omanke Gambia la Kuramoti. Gambia is a beneficiary just like Senegal, Guinea, and of course, the OMVG countries. So how could you actually refer to that as Hani Senegal Fanang is taking electricity from? Is Gambia the electricity they're taking from Senegal that they are paying for? Is that actually from the OMVG? No. So we cannot continue to deceive our people just in a way to continue to rule and of course ruin them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
until people are honest to ourselves, we will continue to face these challenges. And then these challenges of electricity are not things that could persist for long, because abe mantoro nin toro min dikana society la, and in terms of economic impacts is unbearable.
Yeah. I agree.
So for me, I think generally,
Yeah.
these are the problems that needs to be talked about, and
Yeah.
I don't think the president addressed it, and I don't equally think the minister of the information addressed it in any way. So
Yeah.
they're just dilly dallying in my view, and I think until we hear the technicians tell us what exact, because ani for science intending, then it what exactly is the problem? Masingol la balanta bang for for fuel or man sort of bang for because I want to
Yeah.
know what exactly the problem is. Now that I go masingol le balanta, phone tolman technician also the means say masingol put back into operation.
Yeah.
If the
I think.
machines are
Yeah.
completely dead, let them go and get us new machines. For it all malonko, new machine wala lifespan mo nyina te janim be futala auto machine do la nyanta, replacement o la nyanta kala wala ba.
Yeah.
So where is the problem? What actually led to this, total, blackout in the entire country, and then for almost weeks, and then nobody have a solution to it, and then we think we have a functional government. This is the problem
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, Ali, welcome to the show. By the way, Omar, you raised very important points, and I agree with all of them 100%. But I think you highlighted something very important, which is technical problems should be solved by technicians, and I think that is basic, is rudimentary. Mo be nyando lon la. And I feel like mo lu fana nyanta faham la ko man sakunda la dogo mindi. Just like any business, just like any corporation, if you have a manager, you do dia naman dogo nyin no, aman dogo nyin keno akamolla kama na mi yalan ko do ko nyim fa ham pour problem nyinta ya solve ntola na wek problem what has been happening for so long is it almost feels normal now pour molle si kroeta for long hours krom and sort of, because people have become somewhat used to it, but it's not supposed to be that way. And I feel like, especially, I don't know if now press release telebang and some of the information that are coming out from them, including how long Nim problem warning is going to take, and the fact that they reference Guinea Bissau and in Senegal as people who are also experiencing similar problems, and also using the justification of the Iran conflict in terms of how the route for wall global gas route, how that is affecting our electricity, like all of those things, right? We are not such a great group of people that are proactive in finding solutions to our problems. We only wait until nako kabaji dorong willing. We try to find excuses, and that is why me programming kono be for a very long time. We know NAWEC is not a properly functioning institution. We know that they don't have the resources to supply electricity to the whole country. We know there are serious investors who opted in to come to the Gambia such that they want to solve the electricity problem in the Gambia. Dukolu mobe be fan jibela drong. We want to continue to allow NAWEC to do this when NAWEC do not have the capacity to run this. And so I think Wale and Sijang, today's problem, what we see, the electricity problem that we're experiencing today, is a culmination of factors that led to today. And that is largely the blame has to squarely go to the government because, again, Malmo's point, technical problems is the responsibility of technicians to solve that. It's a leadership problem. How many leadership falling like at NAWEC? How many resource constraints have we been having with NAWEC? So I think these things have been happening, but people need to see and accept that we are not so good at holding our leaders accountable. We're not so good coming to the realization that look, Yemen Sakundata Ye Tomo, if they can't fix your problems, then they need to go. It's just as basic as that. But I just thought I add that to what Malmo is saying. But Aliu, you can hop in and tell us what you think about Kuranko Mbekir intending. Sirifo also welcome. Sirifo Fanambejane. Bio, he just joined us right now. Ning Aliu, Kacha phone, sign up for
Okay.
Bagana Dula phone. Yeah.
Gaya
Go ahead.
nake wana ta malmola ongol.
Ongol bala ka nya ku ya boy.
And ala internet na bika bere wala ala problem odi.
Eka fadle no. Gaya ka nake wa fadle.
Mbika mo ifon kamem fo mala abu kulid la attending ngam. But Ali, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I will not take long here, but Doc came in for Doc have already set a perimeter. Those are the realities, and I think until we have honest conversation as to how our country should govern, Bongo Nyimba move la forward because it's not excusable. Like people are paying meters, people are paying gas powers, people are paying literally everything. At the end of the day, they are not actually getting service that they require. And at some point, I even asked the parliamentarian about the 35% VAT that they actually put on the people to pay. What is the justification for that? That's a criminal act. That's a fraud. You cannot tell my father that if he happens to buy, cars for $100, $35 is going to now straight. Who it's not happening anywhere in the world. But at some point, the government or they normalize stuff, they tend to be okay with everything, they tend to be cool with everything. And that is why they are where they are today. I listened to my guy Farms. He was saying that it's good that everybody go dark. Like it's good that there is no water. And I think at some point those are some of the words that we should start saying. Bede ata almon kuron soda, bede ata almon jio soda. Alma jio kananana. Just
Alman
tell them
Kankawama,
because
yeah.
these are the realities, right? You are seeing something. You are paying these people. You're clothing them. You're giving everything to them, right? If something didn't go right, they cannot just come and deceive you. Like my president telling Gambian that even Senegal are taking sauce from us. That is not actual. Because the thing is, OMVG, like it's connected to the Gambia all around West Africa, especially the sub-region, right? So what do happen is countries are connected through that, right? Gambia supply Senegal on what capacity? Fendable, resources stable. We don't have anything. So, like he said, these are the some of the things that has been going all along, but there is a solution to it. The solution is you need to allow investors to come in, bring forward your policies to ensure that you protect the citizens, and of course, the government also can actually benefit from it. But you cannot continue, living in a country like this. If Gambian choose this, ala ko fair bagel de wala na ma election no jamfandi bagel. Aka Gambian no letters. With all these things happening, now he has given you opportunity and see whether what you're gonna choose. Because at the end of the day, if they don't do this, then we are going to, rewind our podcast to more of academics and then some of the socioeconomics issues, not only about politics. We're just going to shut it down. The choice is
Omar,
in their hand.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Omar, what do you think about the politicization of this vice, electricity vice, in Gambia, in sense of just they they almost seem very tune deaf to the fact that people are missing a very essential part of their daily living, which is electricity, and you're trying to find a justification instead of trying to find a, a much more sustainable solution to the problem, which is how do we make sure that NAWEC is not the only institution that the whole country is relying on, a public company that also relies on importing our electricity from elsewhere for us to have electricity. How do we make sure we have a sustainable solution to what is happening instead of just politicizing it and blaming people by saying that politicians are trying to politicize this and blame the government for it? But who are they supposed to blame if not the government?
Along omo masakunda la tapalea in Tilimbaliality. Your Tilimbalia in the sense that NAWEC has the sole monopoly of the grid in the Gambia. There is no other institution that actually supplies electricity to the grid, national grid, if not NAWEC. So a NAWEC is a government institution. It's the people who are employed there are employed by the government of the Gambia. It is the government of the Gambia, the politicians who are responsible for making sure that there is enough service delivery to the people who are paying for those services. So it's like hana tarafang masakunda anteng abukoloko, service, let's say my internet service is from a particular company. It's the company's responsibility, as long as I am paying for those services, for the services to be provided. So when you fail to provide those services, who should I turn to? I should go to Ebrima, who is not the provider of the services. It's just diverting attention from the real issues. And the real issue here is that the government does not have what it takes to be able to give Gambians the services they're paying for. Niko Molo Mankodo Shoro to pay for the services that you could say. In as much as you levy a lot of tax, and of course, the people are bearing that burden and still paying for those services so that they could have their daily lively activities going on. But it get to a point that you cannot even provide that. And to a point you try to you start justifying by giving us comparison to, oh, it's also happening to other countries. That is not our business. We pay for our services. If you are unable to provide the services, tell us why you cannot provide those services. And that is solely on the government, because this is a sector that is completely monopolized by the government. So therefore, it is solely the government's responsibility to provide such services. And where they fail to, they should be questioned. And there is no way you can talk about government and separate that from politics, because NAWEC in itself is dependent on the decisions of the politicians. So therefore, it is entirely political, and not just politics, because it has to do with the livelihoods of the people. And the people will always turn back to the people they vote in to make sure that they provide those services to them. And who are those people? They are the politicians. So the whole point is that to say, oh no, you cannot politicize this. But what should we say about it? Other people will tell you, Nalia Cartier Fine told you, we will make sure that you have your services as required. So Mansakunda Mominity, Mansakunda should be there to make sure that you build the resilience of your people, give them those services they deserve, so that people don't come to you to beg, but of course they pay for those services and make sure their lives are stable. Mansakunda is actually, that is what it should be. So if you cannot provide the basic services for your citizenry, why do you want to continue to lead those people and continue to tell them that, oh, don't politicize this? But when you are able to provide those rural electrification poles, what do? You go on tours and telling them that we are opening up a new electricity, whatever, in this community. We are putting new poles in this community. You politicize it and use taxpayers' money to go on those tours and make it look like you are doing everything for the citizenry. But when the services go bad, you don't want the citizenry to ask you. And then that is politicization of the whole thing, when in reality, in everything that you do is political, because you are in a political position. Why Brahma kukili molka nyina walla yalo na ko NAWEC la inefficiency is actually putting this country on a ticking time bomb in terms of public health, hazard exposures. Gambia long bankute mi yalonko, because NAWEC cannot provide sufficient water services to the people and electricity. Eka Cordal Yell, in terms of our real estate development and proliferation, people are only selling lands 20 by 20. Eka mojelate 20 by 20 sanja. Ala Cordal loje. Simply because, Nawek the geo supply la nuatea sufficiently. What do? They actually put a borehole there. Near borehole okeje. Alonko borehole 20 by 20, you connect a borehole okeje. The other side, a septic tank okeje. Mba jolon na jamba min na jam. Without even understanding that in our basic public health regulations, you required between a septic tank and a borehole 30 meters. But itala korda is just 20 by 20. But eka ajala fango itala korda 20 by 20. Itala fenso danta dame dola fenso damo tata wala to. But itala fenso danta dame ite borehole okeje. Nyundola fenso starta dame ngate septic tank okeje. So abukolo ko itala septic tank ko ni nyundola borehole mune separate. It's just defense. And some people, of course, would make sure that there is impermeability at the bottom of their septic tank. But other people don't care. How about other people who still have pit latrines? And then that's basically what they are using. And if it actually goes beyond the permeability, level is not, below the permeable rock, what would happen? There is still permeability. So it will be simple all the way down to the aquifers. That is going to cause, that is why we have a lot of E. coli.
Yeah.
Our system. So
Yeah.
nawekla kuran soto balia abe kuran wala sabu la muluma. Molla be loptano to min yalon ko dobi dole se fano la kuran tayako no. molla business will be tinya kan kuranta yakono molla be foka ila nafulo la kuranta yakono. It's actually causing distress on all the people in our households. It is actually causing a lot of stresses to people, not just kamoto talo ning jonkonto talo ning hani saliji muto ning ku kono de man jio so de man lampo so mo ibe alabato fonke no la nyadi you know
Balu
ko
ñaabe ko la.
people
Yeah.
need to understand that this problem is beyond just them trying to say, oh no, we are doing everything to fix it. These are problems that cannot persist, and then the longer they persist, the more troubling they become for the country.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
everybody, in a way, because Ikajalo control, we are transitioning from that, agricultural revolution momentums of, yalone, come sare dole bi jana say wolokata cannot attack, udol lokono whatever. But now people in the urban Gambia, moro,
Omar ben
maybe
fala jelo la. Bro fon ko na
no,
mala wadun kon
that
kana
still
wala
exists in the Gambia though.
bro fon
There
ko
are
le ko
communities
ke.
more, come on,
No
but
no no
again,
no bro fon lo.
Brikama sign, Brikama falinta bakele, yalo ninkai, Jiola ka kuole be borindi, so sign Jiola ka kuole be borindi, sign nin kura buka so Jio buka so mona mole bita
Okolala.
jonko no nyadile.
Yeah, okolala
Jonko na
bala
mo
ka.
so by no ba.
Yeah, nko
Iko
ngebaring selendi bang. Ibaring I'm sure I ku jama so dala fa min fola about ning electricity ko. Bari bayo. E ka mol moy la bang. Kadang ibe sirim ibe freeze rim mulun kala sirif.
Angkol ka elal kuje la sign mo elal kuje.
I know. Aka fa ko kulli dala bang or something ba ma. Bayo e ka mol moy la bang.
Alo internet amanka kurang ni Jio da mari internet do home problem.
Sirif.
What bukan dolo mo.
Ka mol moy de. Sirifo. Uncle. Karimi mobe la uncle la dija.
Ba bon la ongol yara la saya na bena political la kara la boss yam bulo ko denke. Alan selang moni la ongol bukan political ke bar saya me political kala.
Bayo, you're muted, bro. Mol became moy.
Yeah, anybody, Namra, NDB, even command la WhatsApp, maybe because none of you command are very and again, there is no electricity because me NAWEC kumol folk. I try to use even the Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi also is not strong. So basically, Nissan command, if I can call through Messenger or maybe through WhatsApp, maybe we can able to have a better communication.
Let me call you.
Because Mantaraka, the line keep cutting, Akata Kundula all the time. And this is a very important program. And I'm always happy to be here with my Mbarneo, Mantra Kontani Kodo Baba ko nya. But Galaflo Ado Wadi Pro nice in Nakasha. But between Nil Network and Betty and Yomo, Odo Kumara Bagel, Network also no Yano, Kumara.
But be moy kan de man fete ka mol moy ntol be moy kan be slowly na doron bayo. So maybe we can try and see if you can niatra ma work at all then say call WhatsApp. Okay, I won't call kan the phone. Okay. Bayo.
Yes, whenever man call Tajam because the problem is Mantara network Mantara betari. I try to use Wi-Fi phone, but I Mantara.
It's okay, be moy kan loud and clear. But talk to us quickly about kurankuo ite mina lonje. Mune be keri molla molbe mune feel kan nyim kuran soto balya be keri den banko kan ani internet soto balya. Ani mbata dal min be keri Gambia.
Ila ñin kala betata bake. Comme na fu ñamen do nal konton. Nambar neo konton yalon nga kontan na pour nambar neo si ka kacha. Ñin kamala mbar neo nalo na Gambia bay damen. Oroning tuma men neo longato. Ile na ben platform na kacha Gambia la ko wala ba te Gambia la ko just like ko ben. Barankai ko ya susule alo ni kori ngo susu ni ya susu kori kunda e kala ko kori ka menge ko wala kala toro wala tan Gambia ko toro do ya do ka kelo le ka di mol lang do ka kelo do ka bu lo ka la balu wala mu ya da men do susu lo Gambia ko bari ba la nyin karo bere do ba bimbe tembo men to Gambia la ko ala masiba mu problem baleti andon ning hakilo bakan ndakatu diamla wato wati anun kanyum fonko Gambia la mu menti wala nyinto ko mang proper electricity policy that among soto there is no roadmap wala nyinto ko man silo soto silo me alon ko sa ko na energy sector ba protect la no nyame e kam mo le bramo
okay mo ha
yo ko na energy sector ben energy sector nyin ba protect la no nyame pule me ya lon ko Gambia man fere ke ko nyinto bari nin na wek la piaro nada na ka kacha soto do wadu soto da wo ka chanyun kono a fongo sonda ko nyoko ha ye road map de da comme ye ferol de da pour comme na wek la koto ako fo ya commencer le non after 2021 or around 2020 2018 ako sa ye fona fere bulol dalale fere bulol me yalon ko na wek be samana wolela ko janni ba fo ko 2030 something like that mo felle me yalon ko kuma da bakal banko la energy sector ka plan na soto ferol ni de la je banko la energy sector la ban ning wo ferol nyulu ning wol man timma abe ko yala bakale pour na energy sector nya yiru so let's talk about the current situation Ebrima. The current situation be nyame wala nyindu ko banko dungo be batare banko dungo banko bimbe banko kan betembo men kono iba bata face kanne ida iba face kan through internet comme momel yalon ko la balu katara internet lo bala wol bi be bata kan momel yalon ko la balu katara kararo lo bala karal ko wol fana mo multi mel yalon ko bi wol fana be batare bakele momel yalon ko muta salo le kono wol salo men bota kono bi mo ba fole ko ala subu man tinya ala aman siya bake because mlakata mol kela utumo la num mbama nyolu fama nyola watu la num utumo kuno se mo wara wanyama mol ka men ke wala nyindu ko mol kela subu tale ya ja bare sai metem mo men ko subu ja ko o pele de meya longo o man tara ke
baji ko nan ko be wurala de sali subo man nyan tambila lo ko kile na do karangi mane ni ko tuje
ani comme non gam fo en tari ko lo fo comme anatara yaron anatara comme telefula bolo ke blo ko anatara ka telefula ke blo ko même be jewlo nyindu ko même ko ta wolo nyindu ko mola mole ferol stotole ferol milialon ko ibe sal subolu nyulu ibe manan kunna no nyame barbi nyaaji be bi wo kede fennet me yalon ko I mean woman kara caring yo so nyaaji be bi solo kono lampol man no bari nyeta kunna nyinu ka kunna atul ada pa ko electric sector de nyal be taman nyaadi mata kun so de ne keta Gambia la kabili to laajo doron ka yakulungo soto no Senegal yaajo ko yakulungo sama na kulungo ndi ka kulungo soto je yaajo ko kulungo soto no from ECOWAS Gambia nyinata silome ya lon ko kulungo soto no wala ya lon ya ite yiruwa o maybe yiruwa starta ni mena ni ko be nyina wala fereng e ka boyle bibi la ni aji be tara badi bu kerawan NAWEC la official me ya lon ko wala be badi bu kerawan NAWEC la station me be je sande balle be je sajiolu jama'ete bumbanye ni fata yabe yela rina habang jama'ete teje balle ka dunje ni sol la ka dunje falol la ka dunje bade bu kerawal yeta fara fenya fanan the same thing yeta kahul the same thing ye community sa ye ke only distribution center ya go da malti ya ke da me wol ñu ko just put the switch on distribution okay put it off I stop yewul dulal be ke wolet instead of generator mel ya lon ko wolle be dulal ñun to NAWEC will stand by in case another, for example, energy from soto. Energy sort of from another country, another source. Energy would find me along bankola security lemu. This is one thing we need to understand. The country you are receiving, anything can happen to that country. Ko besa hap ko kulunisa keno banko kan. But ito fongola banko, what do you have? Mine beta bulu ni emergency sort da. U banko kay be menke don la pour ka jeko ite energy sector yunta ya resolve. So Gambia men kena wolo nyudu Gambia fojete o belale. So men fu moye nyilande banke fana wolo nyudu kabriye 20 I don't know 20 megawatt solar plant nyin kabriyo soto. Kabriyo 20 megawatt solar plant no dron Sa masakunda he sa okay solalem. So but sa okay solalem, but it's an energy source. It got source of an diamond before. Why do you forget that area? So nyaji be kotu masungul mele alon ko wole be operate kanje u masungul enyilata u masungul bela. E mantara ka u masungul do ku nyama. And the funniest part is Ebrima, they rent and import large number of heavy fuel. Large number of heavy fuel. Wala nyundo ko ekonomi ko NAWEC fuma la kanyum ko NAWEC ko e komme tembo men kono ila fuel storage ol bebe fari ne tep. Do you know why ila fuel storage ol bebe fari? Because that is their interest. It is fuel. How can you order a fuel? It is fuel order la kana banko kanjang. But fuel only me along keba order kama. Anyanda kela masimo men kono. Anyanda kela masimo men kono. O masimo nyu mantra tamaka. O masimo nyu mantra dokuka. So this means they were only following their interest. Ninkama ka fuel ila fuel order because me along jumal ka fuel order nyu mantra kunda nyu tembe. Me alone. And jumal le omol me along they are only there for the interest of the party. So they fuel order. If you get back around, you can fuel tanko kono. But rolling fuel tanko kono. Ila masunguli along go lenda ka oborindi. O masunguli nyu mantra tama. Kabiri masibo, kabiya ko masibo kana. Few weeks, kabiya ko masibo kana. Nyalo ko ite ye bulo bulale. Few weeks, nye jongli solo ko matam jongli solo ko. Alna na diamale na fala ko kule kana. Na pena sunko tanang. Nyanta ka preparation mo kakaba. Etara la masungul to. Yatara masungul be faring. Now they want to order. They go to le bagasol order them from other countries. Because some of those bagasol will say no kulumba kuluntiala. So for that being the case, I mean, it has to take time. But that is how failure is, Ebrima. Masakunda ka operate unyama, masakunda nyinga fail. Masakunda, you must have an emergency emergency storage of energy. Inyanda ka sotole. Nunga emergency storage of energy, not only fuel, but inyanda ka emergency size source of melalongo. In case nim coal melalongo, keta coal melalongo, banko toral, you can use those things. Ye banko makwe wala. But it was disappointing that Gambia is not planned for that. Gambia mampare okola. Gambia mantra doku keo okola. So Gambia being problem right now. NAWEC coming for Moli and in member caring is completely different. NAWEC la masunguli nyakasu wala for many years there was no repair to those machines. And to give you evidence of this, Tabri Kama power station on you. What is happening there? They were only concentrating on distribution. They were not doing much of generation. So if you need a generation, aspect or branches need or ignore, it will depend on what the bank. If those countries have problem, do you think they will leave their people and supply you? They will tell you ONBG contribute. Yes, they make a contribute, but the unfortunate part is not among the station to me along the Gambia Konajang. And energy is not like that. Energy is Nyaja B. Gambia, many investors are not coming to Gambia is because of energy. And this is something we need to understand. Nyaja B investor, Jama Mantra Naka Bangkok Ebrima, is because of energy. Because the problem is you cannot bring, there are some certain kind of factories, New Samana Bangkok and Jang. Those factories cannot operate in this country. Because the problem is there is no proper energy supply. And if there is no proper energy supply, what is going to happen if you want to use, for example, little company, you want to depend on generator, or you want to depend on, if I say energy credit, what you will spend is, it might not give you a very good business. So at least if government is giving you, not a government, at least that helps you to get some more profit. But investor manager, because those plans are not there. And the worst part is there are people and they are Gambians. And those Gambians they want to bring energy in the country. They want to bring green energy. Because we have all seen the likes of Modlamin Sultan Jambe, because they came up with an energy plan. And before Sultan Yolimina, there were a lot of people they came. And Ebrima, I'm telling you one thing. If you go to Niger, if you go to Niger, in a water sector, you are privatized. They privatize it, and it was private because the problem is I'm not going to make a private. It got called privatized, because of Menakada, it may someone no. You privatize things to make life easy for yourself. And I'm going to near call privatize government book offense of jail. Government offense of jail. That's where you create because a proper monitoring system on the create all for Naira. It might neither be a profit sharing business. But Gambia, Nyaja Yeba or Beto, Nyaja Gambia you obey ignore. It's because of the mafias, the cabal. The cabal, they surrounded one sector, and that sector is NAWEC, and they all want to eat from NAWEC. That is the biggest problem of this country.
Yeah. Yes. So we can go on and on about Nawekla problem, and I think you raise very important points, and I'm sure Malmo can agree as well. In terms of Gambia problem, the fact that we're not doing enough to generate our own electricity supply. We want to be heavily dependent on importing electricity, and also the question of privatization. Muna at nantolu kabring am fan sort of be company kilo mi alonko abuka fan samba no be bankola electricity be sambal no nyadila. I don't even know how that is realistically possible. But bio the issue of NAWEC again is important. A conversation about continental, and I hope that they find a meaningful and long-lasting solution to it. But another subject lafa diamle min na jani bita because ngala ko bulo motarin na.
And I just want to tell you one thing also about Nawekla Koido.
Ha.
And I think it's very important we put that one to the people. If Nyajibe Kabin 2017 and you go back to the record, Ebrima Ebajaloko million jama baladunta energy sector on Nawekla Karola. Lot of millions. Will millialongo will dunta on Nawekla Karola. The millions Karola from the World Bank and even from the OIC, because during the OIC there were a lot of loans and grant just to make sure we have a proper energy sector. But the surprising thing is, Ibrahima, I mean, you understand where did these people put this money? Okay, now, I mean, I hear the government saying, people should not politicize energy, or people should not politicize, electricity issue. I mean, if one have to blame somebody, more blame la, may will be energy sector politicized is the government. Because we've all seen the government, be President Barrow Jele. I mean, he's politicizing everything he's doing in the energy sector because Nyajibe, the only distribution, because it will they focus on distribution. Forgetting that if needed beg a they're trying to play with the minds of the people. If I come and Gambia do location no more domo. Because men can only need to go where the production is going to happen, where the generation is going to happen. Generation of a diamond, maybe more better Masimu Jala. But Minakata, so that is what they feel like that will attract people to vote for them than Masumata Bansanga Wurla, maybe Mumbuko. But I am telling you, Masumana Bansanga Wurkang, or Masimuning, at the Bansan, but that Masimuning, Eco pipe will mill bail and Eco field will mill bail. If there is no electricity, those pipes or those will learn on you, they will not able to generate nothing. So Masakunda, they can understand what you do. Based on Talatonyalam. Access to electricity should be the concern of everyone. And you'll always hear from the president about out of Gambia, out of this the rural electrification project, Gambia Bedang. Yes.
Yeah.
Within 12 months. Within 12 months, Gambia should be able to do this within 12 months. Do you know why? How can you compare Gambia with Africos? Look at the population of Africos. Look at the land size of Africos, and look at the land size of the Gambia. The Gambia land size GB. Africos land size GB. Senegal land size GB. Ghana land size GB. Why are we comparing ourselves with those countries? If Ghana can able to give electricity to maybe 40% of their country, then we should be able to give electricity at least. We should be able to give at least electricity to 90% of our country. If Ghana can able to give it to them in 1 year, if they can able to supply 40% to their people, then we should be able to cover at least 80 to 90%.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. The problem is Alamolu. The technicians they always fail to make him to understand issues, and this is why today when I saw the Minister of the Minister of Digital Communication, a journalist asked. A journalist asked a minister a journalist told a minister about president and the minister just jumped and then answered for the president. And I was like, these people are they are guilty already. This is why some of these things are happening.
I mean, Omar, I want to bring Omar in quickly. Hopefully he has some comments. Then Secretary Finance shift Sonko Fongola at the phone, another controversy that has to do with the current case of gold 3.6 million US dollars that we all know now is taking over our social media, and then allegations of Sonko for a case of, I mean, accused of disinformation and allegations that Ibasa Malekotle, among other things. But we are going to get into that. But I thought, Malmo, if you want to react quickly, la Uncle la Kachanyang, I mean, this is one thing, I'll be agree la daming. The other thing, I'm not sure I'll be able to agree la what the
No,
rest.
I would agree to a lot of things, even though there is still one thing that I always had some issues with. That is
why do you preempt that we are not going to agree?
Because ngal be
no,
alone. Ngal mo fulo be alone.
I agree fully.
Mbadu fulo, mbadu ka mal mo mo leba. No, mbadu ngana head fu no bodu. Mbe jabila, mbadu ngana head fu no bandi.
Yeah, you gotta go that way.
Malmo mbike mo, hang on. I need to play you through na computer speaker instead. Omar.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason. But I don't know why it's hard more because I think the man headphone is gonna be hard to do more.
He has many phones, man. Gambia molga telephone jamala shoda. I don't Facebook on another one. But anyway, until after Jansala Dami wala nyente go. Along Gambia, we need to
Hang on
start
one second.
calling a
Let me
spade a
put my
spade.
headphones back. America Mwele.
Yeah, I can get you clearly.
Okay, Sonko, are you hearing what Malmo is saying? Bio.
Cool. Bio telephone jamala babu la we do fen kerala I thank you, Technically you need to.
Yeah.
But by the come well kodi.
And the Mwele loud and clear. Go ahead.
Along Gambia ni ajibe kanying heavy fuel supply minfo. Ataka minfo ko ngalo na mini ba ko manko. Mini kela kodo di NPP la wala ba ko ma. NPP la molu wala ka heavy fuel. Wala heavy fuel contract ko soto Gambia. So they themselves have long politicized NAWEC that they even give these heavy fuel contracts to their allies and of course their funders and people who actually mini along ko janni ko contract ko dila wali pick up war la di NPP la ngolo be lon janne. So politique wala be abe ko mo fanam be jeli o mo ko kelinet. We've seen a lot of World Bank projects and a lot of money pumped into NAWEC. So Nita Kontole ko be maybe Massimo La Parso the Dol Fenketa Mini along Walter Dunola Peleno Konwalling. But Ning Ayatara Koita, you are actually having fuel storage. Police have a reserve lady. How about machine parts that should be there in case of any emergency of that nature? Jani betado sanna bara fulanja wala sabanyanya ndatara larite bulleko. If there is any instant problem, you can actually fix it while you wait to actually purchase other ones. But wala mantra kere nyimbankoka. So, NAWEC problem is not simply and squarely on why not be privatized. One thing we must understand, energy sector is a national security matter. So I have always, taught twice when it comes to the privatization of NAWEC, because at one point, not just NAWEC, but of course, allowing, either, total control by a private entity. I do not subscribe to that because this is a national security matter. Nin kurama manso do karamunto dinno wala karama buka keno. Nin kurama manso do hani balu ofon Kenya buka keno anyama. So that's a national security matter. So on that case, what you can do is to, do a semi-privatization, but not a total privatization, in a sense that the private company, because the national grid could still be controlled by NAWEC while you allow other operators, mini along con NAWEC lefanambe kurama sanni tolobulu, but itoloka di banko dingola, but they are not the sole, producers of electricity or the suppliers, but other people can supply NAWEC while NAWEC serve the citizenry. Because otherwise, if you privatize certain parts of it and then you give it to private company, if the private company,
government.
if the private company personnel have political interests, that becomes a problem. Ano Gambia don't tolla moja mahani masakunda eka molta do ko la jani ka do ko ba yedum politiko ko. Imagine you give the energy sector to a private business and of course they have maybe ni Gambian or long or whatever, they have political interest. Ibe ramana kala. Ibe jeki la ni masakunda do nyole kuran fa banko be kan 1 week and beyond. The government did not have a plan that if these people do this, what are we going to do? So that is why privatizing the energy sector in totality is something that every government, in my view, should not do. But what you could do is to allow people to supply the national grid while you pay them for that provision of the whatever watts that they are producing, they are actually sending into your grid. But while itafana yela own fenko sort of back fenko sort of that you are also supplying that, of course, hanatara nyindol must be, we should have, dependability on what the government and its institutions can provide. In the absence of which, if you totally privatize it, nini wala dunta nyola, or there is okay, ini man na ben kanna wala jeki jeki te ko be electricity dala fala iko wata kele okay, we will stop the supply. What will happen to the country? I don't refer to this as erratic, electricity supply. This is a drought, electricity drought lonyinti. It's prolonged.
It's a shutdown.
It's prolonged.
Yeah.
Prolonged lack of electricity for the country is a national security crisis. And what is happening in the Gambia is not, a cheeky problem. This is a national crisis. Because beyond a week, 2, 3 without proper energy, that is a crisis. That is significant of a crisis. That is significant of a disaster. So but generally, of course, we can do some level of privatization, but not in totality. And OMVG, all to supplement. Do you know that OMVG charges, their tariff is even more than that of NAWEC? Because OMVG was supposed to actually come and then put a dobalo marco, but all the electricity tariff is even more than that of NAWEC. I don't know how they were able to reconcile it, but from the time I was knowing that, that's basically what it is. And I've helped some political parties whose interest was to see, okay, in terms of our energy sector, how their approach to solving it was, and some of them wanted privatization. I asked them one question. If you totally privatize NAWEC, any private company dunta nyola ma energy dealer banko mola 2-3 weeks. Yam netala masakunda be sustain laba. Or ning ya privatize me ya ni ofong after kala politician or he can sabotage everything in the country. And then this is a national security matter. Therefore, a total privatization is just like privatizing the army if you want to totally privatize NAWEC, because not NAWEC but the energy sector. So there should be a balance of trying to get other actors within the sector, but who would work with NAWEC. But NAWEC, in terms of telling people that they politicize it, it's been politicized by the NPP. It's the NPP folks who are supplying heavy fuel to NAWEC. It's the NPP people who are actually in charge of, the energy supply in this country. And therefore, you cannot politicize the energy sector because this is a national security matter. It must be dealt with patriotism and not from a political lens. And of course, giving all these contracts to your people simply because your party needs to get kickbacks from it. And we know how they're dealing with some of these World Bank projects and other projects. And then, fuelo mimbora nang, Russian in black cotton. Tilimbalo lintapalele banko kamoro. Ole atina banko be kolea kono. So I think that's what I want to conclude on matters relating to energy, and of course car power. We also know car power nata jenya dile. Yalo no komin nara car power fi nanje wonin kodiman na wodla. He came, government gave him the contract. He took those contract documents and went to a bank in Antwerp, and of course they gave him all the money he needed from the bank because the government already gave him a contract with nothing. Way wakai to let tata kodo dia la tata car power fi na adun Gambia butong ndolka ajo kodo la. Anyhow, and then there are people in the National Assembly who were receiving kickbacks from that. So Gambia no ni aje dawo da kurin kuba be kirin drone mole kemire la jibole be kemira bankola nyado tani yuruani nafala. I'm not sure if that car power is still in there, but one thing is ninna fata momi ejere neta sonna wala. So these are the problems, and then they are compounding in a sense that who would come to invest in the country if you don't even have proper energy? Because while you're doing your due diligence, you are trying to look at all the sectors that are drivers of the economy. And a driver of economy anywhere in the world is the energy sector. It's about what? Energy. So energy is nothing that we can compromise with. And as a country, we do not even have reserves to say that, you know what, a crisis it will have that impact on us. It might take us a month or two while we try to actually figure out the problem. So until we are like a country that is actually sitting on a ticking time bomb. As soon as one we are the first to feel it even more than those countries that are at war. So what are we? We are a total parasitic nation on other nations. And what are we doing in terms of our technocrats and technicians to make sure that more on 2 months, we say that we have 2 months guarantee in case there is a problem. Not in our food sector, not in our energy sector, not in any sector. So what I'm problem with. But Bayo, I think he made a point, except that I do not agree with Of course, I agree to an extent some privatization, but not total
Yeah.
privatization of a sector
Yeah.
because it's a national security matter.
Okay, so we spent like an hour talking about NAWEC and analyzing the status quo. Aliu Fanambejane and Bio is our main guest today. Sonko Gambia, Brikama Area Council. And so we're going to shift a little bit the gears, right? And I don't want us to spend the entire time talking about NAWEC. We don't have a lot of time. We have like 30 minutes. But love almume Danila. If you can limit ila response, please, especially Sonko Gambia for Onalia that I'll stop. Which is great because Kachanyin Kadiala, but I want to indulge all of you. All response, I'll kind of jump on the back.
Yeah,
Such that.
this is just going to be a quick one. Like Omar Memfo,
Mhm.
I agree with Omar. Like, if you have to privatize NAWEC, you should not privatize it 100%. I agree with him 100% because Agamemfo is very, very important. But I don't remember we the citizens of the country, we need to be patriotic. Nyandaka we are not working for the president also. We working because the energy sector GB. Now everyone is affected. Even the staffs of NAWEC are even affected. You understand right now, and should not only be now Kelo. There are three sectors in this country. Mary Alongo. They shouldn't be politicized. William Nyunduko GPA. The Ports Authority, the Gateway, should not be politicized. Gamtel, that is communication, should not be politicized, and energy also should not be politicized. So, Nimu Fendet Mayalongo, Masakunda Yandeke Haklu Bakal, their managing directors, Manyan Nakela political appointment. It should be a person with full technical expertise. A Momealong, a London, Queen Mosaka, Kunyindole, and no, I Banku Kano Fanasura, Kuyindro, but there should be at least it should they can partially privatize it at some point so that there will be another competitors. Those competitors are going well. Production is going to encourage NAWEC to make sure they do good. But anyway, so far, I think what Omar have said, I really agree with that.
Thank you very much. Ali, you want to come in real quick? Then we shift the gears a little bit.
Yeah, I think their submissions are great. Both of them discuss about very important issue because if I realize like Kuromu life ladi. At the end of the day, now most of the business taburano, molitano la hajola, and to golfananta kudo kero. With regards to some of the things that they really not to do as a human being. So I think government need to react swiftly if there is anything that they address that because this is unbearable. Honestly, how can a life goes without light? It's crazy though. Honestly, yeah.
Thank you very much, Ali. I come to travel can so I'm just gonna have to let you go. But need Sonko better than animal more for the next 30 minutes. But quickly, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, so Lafa, I just wanted to also pick your brain in terms of the major transnational gold trading scandal that has sort of captured our social media and everybody's attention. And nga jafanan ko ita fanan kita moldi mi yalan ko you have a lot of voice and opinion when it comes to this case, and so much so that the chairman of Brikama Area Council Fintanang to make a very bold statement ka fo ko nimin la fa Sonko sambala court along come from be counter sula and be ko nyin dala mba fiti fa dala court le fo mota manke court system de mota manke banko fananti. So lafi nyin kala wala what inform itala position in terms of it I believe Cornelia Longo will be involving in this case and some of the names Emil Fanamfo on your Facebook. What warrants that? Why do you think those people are in fact the ones?
Which name are you talking about?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said which name because some of the names. Which name are you talking about?
The Bensudas.
Some of the names.
The Bensudas are the ones that stands out. I think that's the accusation that you make. I could be wrong, but I suspect from the writing on your Facebook, that's what the accusation. I just, without being accusatory, I just wanted to us to have a conversation about it to understand where you're coming from.
No. You're the one who brought the conversation, so you have to make everything clear. I mean,
I agree.
whatever he says comes from you.
Yeah.
Whatever says come from you. You understand? And for me, what is important is I made my statement, and my statement is very clear. Na kuma kan wal fo nyum ko nyum to la nunna mem fo je abe senatale. And in fact, may content the media houses even some of the media houses were in defense. But so far, all what I have said, that's what they repeat. You understand? And I mean, coming man, my I'm small dose, and then man, small dose, small dose, you look fine, like I understand, and that's what I keep saying. But kuma kili Ebrima left the kaula for you. One thing is very clear. Gambia among there is no gold mining center in this country. Gambia among gold mining center soto. Nalone mol bejane mele alon ko laisinol be buluka mining ke. Wol benyum banko kan jale understand either fokata mining ke bangu dole kamba ya samana jambang whatsoever. But left a mole me understand you will ko ning ibe golo bondile nang for example ning golo sota Jine Konakரி, for example. Jine Konakry, Janiga Golu Bundi Jine Konakry. Ekam Nim Gold Senawalam is a good deal, it's a real deal. Ekam Menkawulu Ninduko, Ekam make sure the central bank of Jine Konakry need to know when you're Kalam Tarokela or Golo or Kuala. Especially Golo Membeko, not among 10 kilodi, among 20 kilodi, Golo me along a transaction me along, it goes almost about kilo chemical and anything. But let's talk about kilo more because kilo more la ko wole be diamo kono follow. Golo kilo more ni ba bundla nang Jine Konakry. First of all, Jine Konakry la central bank nyanda ka kalam de la ko golo be kare bulle. And then ila GRE also wala mu ila revenue authority fana nyanta ka lonko golo be kare bulu and golo memba bulu aya soble legitimately and saying alafta ka abondi banko kan ida alafta ka abondi banko kan nyaadi le alafta ka abondi ani airport la ban alafta ka abondi ani transit la ban comme through Senegal la ban natra alafta ka abondi nan through comme kadung Guinea Bissau la o kadung Senegal la kanaka fintinan kana Gambia kono GRE or custom. Ila custom lebe amari dandana for another custom for another transit custom officer. You will find a hand over will find la kaito da or transit documented. No will find da will find escort to the another point. Because Fenebi will make along was so valid. And amanyana Nico transit normally transit you must be guided for a finti or Bangkok. So now the Gambia Bangkok fana na dunga Gambia fana Gambia la GRA fana nyanta kan yun ko indi jema ko fo Gambia la GRA ni is either I mean abekela transider ko den ka ban fo golo nyin abe business la jande. All these things need to be very clear. So no be tada sign fo be senada sign. Say ite mari me ya lonko ilafta golo sanna. For example, ninde ndemo mood me ya lonko left a goal. I am interested in a goal. Maybe 4 kilo muang or kilo kansaba or kilo keme. But if on the left other side, the man left a goal because goal will finish me along ala kuman sonaya. Either left a goal sana labam pruka mababa or left a goal sana labam pruka business bank. Goal will finish me along nibe do na ko kono for kaitol soto. So kaitol nyulu janibe do na ko kono follow for kaiti quota yasenende. So but ni do goal goal kono goal ko kono. Iman kaiti sana also the J. That is something me alongo. I can be still on. So what I think now, Niaji be in transactional me alongo ba ko diam kante. Niaji kaitol me alongo if into so far. Najeloko a company me alongo go Wuria. Na Wuria la kaitol jela najeko that's Wuria a keta multi me alongo ye kaito soto ye laisho no soto kamana masakunda bulu and ye kaiti jama balle fananjo. So bari nata na jele fanang Guria in business okay. Nyajele. So nyaje ko in business okay. What sort of that? Banko me alonko willemu access bank ti. Ayele. Banko me alonko willem access bank ti. Wa access bank ni na kaitoje. Kaito me alonko ayatendi ko ye fensika ya samba access bank ya maboje. Kabiye fengonyin samba access bank ka maboje. Inarana ka dakoru kaito safe. Ye dakoru kaito men safe wolo nyindu ko it will follow the two parties men ya lonko ye fengo samba ya landi banko nyinto. Will two parties ni wolle nyanda ka ma je ko tanke. Bayre nyum ni two parties be chabo be bulle. O two parties men ya lonko chabo be bulle. Nana agreement ko na be mala ndol bele nyanta nala pour ka ma. But ni na dana kaito jibe ko tanke. Another na ka deposit slip also agreement. Nadana aje kaido fa ambala ko donke kaji ko yes ning atara member was ala do futata ala konto already odo di other party nyin sita nole ka bagaso nyin ta ka bondi so ni aji be fanan audio lu bulle audio me yalon ko no sabul mel keta o dulal nyin ta an ko mel keta je kes nyin Ebrima nalo la mo jama ilafta puru kes nyin na sata nyame ndara sata lo nyama itele frente a sata itele lafta nyame ndara sata la itele lafta nyame ndele lafta nyame nda ba sata la wala nyama because nte yalon ne ko kule me yalon ko be tembo men ko no polisol be kisitiro ke kanne akunyina otanin polisol be kisitiro ke kan ko men na ya san ndata men ke no wolo nyindu ko na moyle an ko da mako kule me yalon ka be soro de ne mbe fintla ka mo ko nyimbe kerinde
So lafe nyini ka
yes.
jeni be continue la anu Omar fana then Omar sinana because ni wonde ni continue dan tolbe the opportunity to tell pour nga ko nyinta nga kacha nyanta kacha nya, but I appreciate you explaining the story in a way that I don't think telling Omar being tolbe sa kino nya, but thank you very much. But lafe nyini kala minna, it seems itala accusation of minti wala mnyindiko. I'm just going through ila Facebook feed right now. Ila accusation of wala mnyindiko. Yemol won ko Nulla movement is some of a fraudulent movement because in fact yung dossier of information and means indicated in the ko Ben Sudalu for Aziz Lomban because I think Aziz when it comes to that specific key ko chabo min for tentinke that deposit at Access Bank Aziz tole finda the court document on so ebe Aziz Ben Sudala, but in fact you went further to say United Movement mo fraudulent organization so lafin yin kala minna ite what evidence lebe the bulo kono because I think that's important. Polite come to that conclusion core. In fact, especially when you said the case is already under investigation, what evidence do you have to say that, in fact, Aziz Nyolo, they are complicit or the Bensudas are complicit in accusation or even like and contente?
Ibrahima, I want to make one thing very clear to you, and then I want you to understand my statements very well. You cannot translate my statements for me. I am the only one who can translate my statements for me, and I have made my statement. You have all right to translate it anyhow you want to translate it. But all what you've said are not my words, are your own words. So let's take it from there. All what you said, even if you read it from my Facebook, these are your words. These are not my words. Okay, this is what that is what I can tell you. So, Barry,
Ebrima, I think
one thing I know is very clear. There is a gold scam. Gold scam, me along Pastorota. I said it and I announced it. And there is a gold scam. Gold scam, me along. I said it. And gold scam on you kono. Nzame mfowolo nyinduko. Mole ba kono. Meli along ko. Emu Unite Movement na mold. Mole ba kono meli along ko. Unite Movement or Divide Movement or DMC. Ina kumomwel. Wole ba kono. Iba kono nya dile. Ntaman femfowolo. And I want to make that very clear. Gold scam deal over the caring and more back on a million go United Movement and more. And in fact, I went up to an extent I said, oh, is a legal advisor. And I want to make this very clear. But gold scam. No, I said there is a gold scam. And it is very clear that there is gold scam. Now,
Ebrima, can we move on?
Yes. Let's of course, Malmo. Let's move on. I don't even know why he's
This
all
will
worked up.
be this will be a very difficult conversation. You know why?
Yes,
Because there is a potential lawsuit around it.
yes.
And I can understand from the angle, Bayo is trying to talk from. But yalo ko ya for dunia benyamin kumo muni shirungol dunia blaka bala waling.
Ha.
Nico, there is a gold scam and Unite movement, I told you, is a fraudulent whatever. You're already making it look like those people are doing some fraud. In this case, when there is a gold scam, I know, like from his explanation, I know everything about gold business and how it actually runs and how the system operates and how some people fraudulently actually connive with other people and authorities to actually run, a fraudulent gold scheme of trying to, defraud people. I understand the scheme very well. Look, I have an expertise in natural resources management. So I know how these things from extraction and how some of these fraudulent activities happen, like he explained. But I mean, what I don't understand is if an individual, because Gambia more separate no. Let's even say that you think there is an individual in Unite who is involved in some gold business. What has that got to do with Unite? Just last week, we had a project consultancy, discussion with an international partner. While we were in this meeting with the international partner, somebody from the National Environment Agency came into the meeting and was castigating, labeling, and of course, mouthing my organization. To the point that you have to tell these international partners, Kemofati is actually, in a court case in here and there, trying to make us look like until we are the most notorious people in this country. So the whole point becomes that if there is an individual involved in a process, what has that got to do with a political entity? I don't agree with my uncle on that aspect.
Yeah, I think
Again,
I
if
get
you said,
Omar, I think I get his point. His point is that if members, especially prominent members of Unite, are indicted, allegedly
but
indicted
no,
in
but
a
nobody's
no,
indicted in any way.
yeah, no, not indicted in legal sense, but like say,
Uh-huh.
they're reported to have been involved in a case like that. It will make sense, for example, for people to speculate that, look, okay, cool, if an individual like that is
But
involved,
if
maybe it
if you
goes
are
even
if you are
deeper.
putting out speculations, let it be based on facts. Are these persons actually on the side of the buyer, or they're representing the buyer, or they're the ones who are actually running the fraudulent scheme? Because know one thing, there are two sides to this. Now, either are they the fraudsters, or are they the people that are being defrauded? That's another point. That is why he's telling you, Nkwelo Ko, they are part of a greater scheme, but not telling you in what position they actually hold. Now, ni mo fulantengete don to kodole mason na kodo jola don tor labi je la nin tar labi je. So en jumale don ro kan jumale taroke. But ni konyo ko Ibrahim nin kar nyol be nim problem bala kono. Nobody will know where your position is. Now, are you trying to tell us that somebody from Unite, who is basically legal advisor, is the person who is actually trying to defraud other people, or who is running a gold scam? I don't think so. In my view, I don't know. But with the documents that I went through, it looks like something did not go right with this gold, whatever. And this is a common thing within the gold industry, that Molba Fole could go Bembulle, and then all the processes are coming for the Nyinkai Defenko. Not long ago, Watson Gambia posted a photo of somebody who works at GRA, who was talking to an international partner, trying to actually side with somebody who is trying to get money from them fraudulently. So these people have partners, and of course, actors in even some of these greater institutions. Gambia does not have gold, but of course, we give documents and license to people. Where are they getting the gold from? But again, that is not the point. The point becomes that Nico Karen Yolubenyum Kuala Kono. Tanga mira ko politiko manjari wo bela. Ning ayatara ko kuso to renong, and it's very true that these people did this, and then I know credibly that this person is involved in this. I will come clear and say this person did that. But if I speculatively put it out there, ka hakili jahaso ni hakili naso dundi society kon about a certain kind of people without any evidential proofs to that, and then deliberately refusing to say ndanga for the naming for the umi fangola kumakan all that is like we're trying to maneuver through, not to actually put ourselves in a way that tomorrow we will not have answers to what we actually claim in court. I don't think all of that is necessary. All these things that all these Brikama area council guys and Unite are having is very unnecessary, and I don't think political manjari nyimbela. Because the whole point is, if somebody did something fraudulent, it's important you tell them that more. There was a time that his boss said that somebody kumulti mini alon ko man jarra lan tol dam malla politiko kon ni da ko molle na de ya ilafti te dukula andi ko ka kare dukula molle nyin ka juma lafti dukula, you run again and block people moro alanga politiko get to nyan intino kanti. And then anybody who is found wanting by doing any shady deal in this country, they need to be exposed, and they must be exposed, and nobody should fear exposing those things. But if we must do so, let's do so, with honesty and sincerity, and not to really paint people bad, to actually send a certain signal to the masses, and then turn around and say, "Karinyo little kala fika mol samba kiti ola moro tumiro do peje akole atala." But let everything that we do be
And
basic
it's
on
just see,
fact and truth.
and it's also to that point too. I think it's one thing people have the right, especially Molmialanko there in the public space, to criticize. And I hope that if this
Right.
has anything to do with people in the, let me just finish. I'll give you Sonko. Sonko Sonko. Let me just make a quick point. Let me just make a quick point. Let me just make a quick point. The quick point I wanted to make is, if anybody is in the public space and an allegation as serious as this comes, I hope that everybody that is responsible is held to account, including Aziz
Right.
Lawo or Talib Labo or anybody. I hope they're held to account. And people should be able to talk about it publicly to the extent that it does not jeopardize the investigation, the ongoing investigation that is happening. I hope we all remember that. But I think also, if as a responsible citizen too, if I want to talk about a particular case as delicate as this, I want to make sure I owe the public that honor of informing them "Gonyina Mundela information. This is what I know." And I also help the police to tell them, look, this person is complicit. Ntenga nyina long, ni information will be bulo kono. This is you don't have to talk about the source. You can tell us what information that you have. I think that
But
also
again,
helps.
but again, on this matter, who went to court? Who is taking who to court? Who is actually said to be, the fraudulent person? Who is actually trying to bring the wrong gold? Who is on which side and on which side? This is not clear. So if you make a
Yes.
generalization that anyway, we will take it as that. But for me, like I am still examining what exactly this is and who is involved and in what level they are involved. But if you make
Yes.
a general or a hasty generalization, that might actually portray certain people in a bad light, when in reality that might not be it. And then we try to maneuver in the language that we use. I think sometimes those are unfortunate. I don't think politics, in my view, is really
Yeah, I
necessary
think
to.
I think it's also
But
natural for them to politicize it because yeah, long obviously in Gambia everything is political. It's difficult
hold
because saying
political motonya quality. Niko mole ko mole lafta ndukule ko karnyol dukule is waji bole ka ya fo mole min lafta dukula ka to molla karte be siri wala ka.
it's not
We got to be
politically
honest and tell people
advantageous.
the truth,
Yeah, but they're
irrespective
not
of
gonna do
whatever.
that. Yeah, they're not
Now,
gonna do that. But anyway,
neither go be no more lafte dukula e ko ka malmo dukula inyanda fola moli yele nadra molla karte be siri wala kam, because waji bole te kan to be all the time, to be honest and sincere, and of course to communicate to the people that vote for you. But if you make
yeah.
certain allegations and the next minute you're trying to act dodgy, that is actually, in my view, not true. But of course, that is not on my uncle. That is on his boss. But of course, now Uncle Fana, I read his stuff and I listened to his stuff. I hope that the right things are done. Tamala fi Fana mol kana ka ko ni na Uncle kata kitio la wara dun ta jabota jana. But nga domon non tol damal be opposition kunda. Mini be opposition ta kameta nyina fola le moro. Ali nyoka ja fo bulal na nyoka nu ngaja ngada mala masa kunda bondi. Mol fele man kurang so dom fele meta je no jam video la fentem fo masa kunda jaw mimbe mulla bankoka. Baratolo be nyo mala luolo ndron kala ko silanka kanta jakal la kala. But allow him to come on. Maybe he
Nah,
has a lot of
yeah,
rebuttals
I'm
to
sure
give.
he has a lot to say, but just to finish with that point, is I just think it's politically advantageous for for political parties and to go at each other. Whatever is advantageous and is going to make the other look bad. I think it's natural that parties or individuals in parties naturally would just do that. But bio, go ahead, please. Bio.
Yeah, I mean, now Omar Moile, I will dive into focus. I know Omar, any moment he's talking, he's very emotional when it comes in terms of Yankuba. You understand? I always tell him,
When it comes to what?
Yankuba, you're always emotional.
Ina ke bayam block la ko denga ko fa am block for yo mal kiyama. I don't care, man.
at some point, and then, if you guys are not pulling today, that is between you,
Eh.
you understand? And all what I can do, you understand, between them, and I have done that as Mbarindiwama, you understand? But, he always keep repeating, himself about that side, the Kabuko
Oh, no.
I will tell you one thing,
He
Omar, and
just
I
did
just
it
want to make
again.
it confirm to you. Well, Yankuba is someone, whatever he says, you always mean it and you always stood by it. You understand? That is the kind of person he is. And then for all Gambians need to know that in Yankuba, all what he said, all what Yankuba said before this 2026 election, you will all see it. Especially the critics, more million longo, eka kumul for Yankuba. All what Yankuba and for Albeba Jela, Yanima I know today, because today I know I know why you things like this, I know why you look at him, and this is the problem. This is the problem. You cannot keep repeating, attacking us. You cannot keep repeating, refuting us. But you don't want to refute your own people because you live with them. But I understand. Like
I don't live with nobody, man. I
But let
live
me
with
tell you
myself.
something about me. I know Omar, he knows me. And although Kakajabate, and I Nakakajabate, yes, sir, this is somebody me along by Nakakajabate. Every single word I have said, I am telling you, I can defend it at any level. Okay, every single word I said about this gold deal, I can defend it at any level. And I want to make that very clear to Omar. Okay, remember the word Nyunduko? Maybe, like I said, maybe Omar want me, the way he want me to say it, maybe I did not say it in that way. Maybe the way, I mean, if I left out, I'm not But the one thing I can tell you, all what I said from the first day up to date, all what I said about this, I can tell you 100% I mean it, and I trust in my every single word, and all what I am saying, I know days coming, it's all going to be clear to the Gambian people. And that is something I have no doubt about that. Because I know gold deal and I know why I make this issue. And I stood by a single statement because I know what I know about this issue. That is all what I have to say about this. That is all what I have to say about this. No amount of pressure is going to force me to say something.
I think that's fair.
So far, I mean my words. And that is all what I want to tell Gambia. Ibrahim, let me tell you something. You see, Gambia, issue if it is about Yankuba Dabo, everybody will come.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
You mean everybody hates Yankuba? You see the
What
mentality?
do you mean?
Listen to me. If Yankuba Dabo told you for example, or maybe Dabo told you or maybe
For Talib Ben Suda don't told Dunda Jebang.
or maybe I mean Ahmad San Arambaro Borno will told you be the internet is going to be full. Internet but because of what? There are people in this country, they can call you, but they will never want to say because of somebody else. That is that is one of the problem of this country.
Parasai, Amari told Dunda Jenya, the Karambola Katakanja.
Yeah, but Ndolmole Katakandi. So I don't know what you're talking about. I thought Ndolmole Katakang. Is that not the conversation we're having? Why are you saying nobody's talking about it?
No, I am no. Listen. Maybe if I said maybe need to hide the kakodiam. Malmo hide the kakodiam. Dofana hide the kakodiam. All right. Okay, but I am telling you. Ngame for Puria understand very well. It's not everybody may along with discourse la.
Yeah, but major no, that's wrong though. That is wrong. That is wrong. All major media houses publish this story, and I'm looking at all of them
Exactly.
right
And
now.
he himself
So I think you're wrong.
alluded to that here.
I think hey, listen, Kerfatu made the story. Gambiana, I have, dude. I'm looking at the internet right now. The article is where I'm reading. Gambiana made a publication on the story. Kerfatu made a publication on the story. Daily Observer made a publication on the story. So what are you talking about? What do you want people to do? A case Miyalonko is going on the court. You want them to say Yafuko Talib is the one that is responsible, or Aziz already when the case is being investigated.
Is Talib's name even on this?
But that is,
UMC's name on it?
Bio, let's be honest. I think that's no. Listen, let's just be honest here. That's what you are insinuating because you are saying that you are giving the impression. You are giving the impression, Ko.
Let me tell you something. Ibrahim, I want to tell you something.
Okay.
And I repeat my word. I am telling you one thing. If this thing, for example, if it is about Yankuba Dabo, or if it is about Usain Dabo, or if it's about Adam Barrow, if it's about Ahmad Sane, I am telling you, it will the volume of Akwedam is going to be more than this.
But how?
I can say this at everywhere.
But how do you want people to talk about it?
Along, Ebrima.
Gambians are so intimidated.
Now Uncle is someone
but
that
I don't think that is true.
Look, now Uncle is someone that
and I stood by that.
I don't think that is true. I don't think.
That is your belief, Ibrahim.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Because I don't think. No, I'm just saying. I don't think any more media powerful than Yaming. I don't think they are that powerful.
But Jumala found powerful than Yang. What exactly is it? Because ila Yankuba mi along ko nyadong ko lamati. Eka tayo sa vero ke ko ndola judiciary does not belong to
Yeah,
attacking people and their families. It
But what I am telling you, we all know this issue.
But 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 if you're making the impression, Gambians are not talking about this because Gambian will see that and or Gambian will they just no. Let me just. But yala ibike lamoy fanang. Ibike lamoy.
again. Let me repeat it again. Let me repeat myself again. I am telling you, this is true. If this thing, for example, if it was Yankuma Dabo who was involved, or if not only Yankuma Dabo lebe nyun kokono, or La Usain Dabo lebe nyun kokono, or Adama Barrow lebe nyun kokono, or Ahmad Sala lebe nyun kokono, be a Kobe Name internet kokono is not going to be like that.
Nko, bara saying bayo afonya bang assist ba ku ko no nyaadi le ofonya woto.
Yeah,
observation and your
Ninga adara ko ite la ko nyimari he did a fraudulent act. Afonya ba ku ko no nyaadi le.
So
Because is this
Malmoko,
person the victim or is actually the person
Malmo
causing the
benin
crime?
kaka minna. So ito ko saying mol man tara nyina kuo fokang. I committed anyanda fola nyameng. Ite ya mira saying lafa nyanda juman la kuo fola. Are you saying that nyanda assist la kuo fola bang or is there somebody else? What are you saying? That's lafa yole for because more understand. Ite ka mimbe fo santo kumo ibole fokang.
Aning amari muneke ofonya bang.
No, like in Ninko Sandokumo Mafoko come like it's not true. Like I'm saying that half of the issue is what you're telling us. Tell us entirely. Ela for mole juman la kuofo that ita for man
Amari
foka.
Amari muneke.
Exactly.
Ofana ko molma.
But I think your discussion is so. This may will understand because the problem is understand. Ebrima, we are speaking about a topic. There's a topic
But it become
we are
motofo.
discussing about a topic, and I am telling you, this topic. If it was me. Now, if it was Yankuba Dabo, or if it was Usain Dabo, or if it was Ahmad Sane, if it was Adam Barrow, I am telling you, Nkoyoko, the way some people in this country will talk about it, you understand it? It's going to be more than the way people are talking about this issue. And I still stand by that. And the way you want me to say it, I'm not going to say it in that way.
No,
and
but
I hope you understand.
Yeah. I mean, it's just confusing because a case that nobody has enough information about, come on, you know, a case that is ongoing before the court.
Ibe mol dia mundela kula mi yalon ko itol fo ma fahamu fo min ko mo kodi. Ade min fo ya fahamu ade ka ta fola ko ino ata fola isene.
You as a journalist and you're bringing that as a point of discussion.
Yes.
And you know that you believe no listen. I all what I know, let me tell you something. All what I know about this, all what I know, I understand so there are warrant people given to people and those people are already in mile 2. That's all what I know. I never know the case is going before a court. And I can tell, let me make this very clear to you. And all what I know is I know the police are doing, there is an investigation about the case. But whether the case is going in the court, I don't know it.
So
you as a journalist.
So exactly, it's not even about it. So it's more for long. That's what I'm saying. So it's more long already. Ko.
Let me tell you something.
Why? Kana na uncle implicate jan. Ngo bayo. Ongol ngo afa ngo imang kulon ya bandala. Wodi amo fo e bamba jani.
Ah, for the uncle and the uncle. Yeah, uncle. I don't think
uncle.
uncle.
Tumo landa kola fale. Yo.
Uncle
I
hope you get it. And what I'm saying is, you as a journalist, I never knew that this case is going before the court. I never knew it. But now I am telling you, now you as a journalist, you are the one who is making
I'm not even a journalist, bro.
Me to know this case is before the court. And as far as you as a journalist now, you inform me because this case is before the court. I am not talking about it now. And I hope you
so it's more for long. You are here talking about all these things. Come on, stop.
No, ngola fa e malong abandala diamo bandala. Ndamala fi fa dun ku do mi along amanjarala.
No, alakana okay. Ata from amon kuja for. I think it's an important conversation.
Ngalon nako banko din kendo lo miti. Ngalon nako elafta nyum banko lale. Ngalon ne fanan ko you are very patriotic when it comes to Gambian matters. Even though your stance on Unite, I don't support that in my view. But again, malavi fanang ali dunku kono mi alon ka manyinya. But tonya ela nyum banko kano moto bonni no le bulu.
Let me tell you something. A journalist in Bangkok.
So omukuban no aldi marabutong Afuela boss ya one the family bula ibuka la family to one the family bula omange politicoti leave people's families alone omange politicoti ni mo mimbe tonya fole ya bola fole tell Yankuba to leave people's families alone. You cannot be writing about ni other of Talib la kuwa mandie dan Talib la kuwa. You cannot come and say
listen,
that
let me clarify this.
But, family.
Omar,
tell this guy to respect people.
No, Omar, listen.
You
Omar,
know,
listen. Ako
because you
kablinga
have
call.
position of authority, you think you
Omar,
can be dishonorable to people
Omar, listen.
anyhow
Omar, let me listen.
and
Omar,
being
listen.
disrespectful to people and their families because you
Okay,
think that
so
is politics. Tell
Omar,
this
you might be
guy to
bang.
reduce his
Hey, hey,
temperamental
hey.
attitude. This
Temper
country
down,
does
temper
not belong
down,
to him.
temper
So
down.
look, we
Calm
got to
down,
tell the
everybody.
truth to each other. These guys got to know that this country does not belong to them, and they got to respect all people who are involved in politics. You don't just come and start talking about people's families in anyhow you feel like. That is not right. Tell Yankuba nobody is mentioning his family in their politics. You cannot come and actually be castigating people's families. The judiciary does not belong to Bensuda Kunda. Omanke kutimi yalonko, momi yalonke benyatonka, omanke horoma kumati. Omu horomanta yala and wolnema horomanta yatilingala. Let this guy respect people for who they are. You can do your politics and of course you can throw jabs at each other, but don't come into people's families and of course try to act as if you are untouchable. No. He can go and block everybody in this country and nobody cares. Alia mimuta molbe wala muta lalka masainde. Irrespective of relationships and imbadi yal. Moro ni momo horomande atini molde bo kusi vala murundi leka. Yankuba got to understand that he is not infallible and he is not
This is what
just
I'm
out
saying.
of the ordinary
I'm
that
saying
nobody
they
is
can talk,
untouchable.
but
He got to
but
respect
hold,
people in
I've
this
lost
country.
control of
I
my
ban and
internet.
roll him kusi fa beke nyimbango kanjane. Who
Nko,
does this person think he is? He is
listen,
just
this
an
is my
ordinary
studio.
human being like any other person. But you
No,
cannot, because of political divergence, you continue to castigate, insult, and of course, tell people things that are
what
not
I'm
right.
saying, but
And
okay, but
allege
in
them of things that you cannot even prove. You said
no,
that there are other
but in
people
him,
who were
but in no,
actually
alila
trying
mo
to
nyola.
bribe them, but when you cannot even tell us who tried to bribe them. And then you have other
No,
people who are there insulting
every
people
day
and
you see young
castigating them
people,
as if they
no,
are the
every
only
day
one who can
alila
do
mo
it.
nyola. Hey,
Anybody and
mbari,
everybody can do
every
it.
day you people
But
no.
let's
Hey,
do
calm
politics
down,
in a more
calm down,
decent
calm
and
down.
civilized way and stop alleging people of things
every
that
day.
we cannot
You know
justify.
one thing I want to tell you,
That is the point.
Yankuba, let me tell you something. Yankuba is a
Eh,
leader.
Look,
No amount of
Yankuba is not a
castigation can
leader.
shut
Yankuba
Yankuba
is a
down. And
person
I
who
want
is
to tell you
out
people
there,
about that. No
insulting people out
amount
of
of
nowhere.
insult,
Nothing.
no amount of
You know?
castigation, no
No, no,
amount of
no.
words, no
Yankuba is
amount
the
of
one
pressure
castigating
can
people
stop.
everywhere, going to
I want to
registration
make this very
centers,
clear to you
harassing
people,
people.
and then you people need to.
You know?
No amount of
Alibe wala
pressure,
bulala politiko eka ake
amount of
horomo ni
instigation,
bunyala pone
no
yela
amount of
constituency
pressure,
dino
no
ye molo
amount of
horoma ye bunya.
castigation, no amount
You
of
know?
disrespect,
Hell
no
yeah.
amount of
Look,
words
who is
can stop
disrespecting
Yankuba. I
families
am
here?
telling you this
Who
time,
is talking
understand.
about
No
people and their
amount of
families and
castigation,
disrespecting them?
no amount of insult. Every
Hey,
day your people are
my friend.
insulting Yankuba, you never came and condemn it.
Malmo,
Every day
ceasefire.
your
Ali
people
Where?
are
somebody.
calling Yankuba an
Where?
extremist, you never come and condemn it. Every day your people are calling Yankuba all kind of names, you never come out and condemn it. Are you not saying you disrespect your people as you disrespect your people
Like
against the
which
Yankuba?
people? Which
And
people?
you
Because
are
today I'm
telling
talking about two
this,
leaders here.
disrespect
Which
your
people?
people are
Yalong
saying
yalong
to Yankuba
bio.
every
It
day.
will come
Every day
understand.
your people are
Ordinary
insulting Yankuba,
commentators. Today
calling him
I'm not here
lies.
to condemn
Every
ordinary
day in
commentators.
this internet.
I'm talking about the
In this
leaders.
internet.
I'm talking here
Every
about
day.
Talib Ahmed Bensouda and
Every day
Yankuba
your
Dabo.
people are
These are the
insulting
leaders.
Yankuba, calling him
People who
liar,
are
Nko,
calling him
voted by the
extremist,
people.
calling him
Unelected officials are not
temperamental,
people I need to police.
calling him
Most cartel
temperamental.
5 million
Are you
them
not
not
saying
follow
that?
what you mean for the
Are
internet
you not
already.
saying that your people
No.
calling Yankuba
Karte man
temperamental
5 million
every day?
that follow what you mean for the internet. But
No,
Karte fighter
comment
Yankuba
them.
they are fighter Talib
Commentators,
Ahmed
who is
Bensouda.
telling them?
Talib
Do you
Ahmed
know who
Bensouda
they
is
are
not talking
commenting?
about
Who
Yankuba
are
and
they
his family.
commenting for?
Why is Yankuba
Who
so
are
busy
they
about this
commenting
person
for,
and his
Omar?
family?
I
Yankuba
am
lebe mole
telling you,
bondika
who are they
UDP adaji
commenting
ko
for?
na manyato
Those
amantara
people, who are
UDP
they
makweka
commenting for?
alala politique nya
I am
fali.
telling you, those people, who are they commenting for? They are
boy,
all
No.
commenting for
so,
Talib
So
Ahmed
so
Bensouda.
so so momo en ndiro ke don
And all his
Talib
movement.
le bulan ndiro.
Who
That
are
is your
they
belief?
commenting for?
Huh?
Some of those people insulting, I am telling you, those people insulting Yankuba,
But
are you
should
not
that
seeing that in
warrant
the internet?
Yankuba to actually
Calling him lies.
go into people's
Did they not
personal
know Yankuba is
families?
Nko,
Does that warrant that?
so let's talk.
no
I said
amount of
opportunity
Anyway,
for
words,
all of
no
you.
I'm good.
amount of your
I'm good.
caricature, no amount of anything
Okay,
can stop Yankuba.
me
I am
kundu,
telling
Baring,
you this.
okay,
I am telling
Baring,
you this. No amount of your pressure, no
Baring.
amount of
Afuela boy,
insult
yes, sabar
will
dugare.
break Yankuba because
okay,
he is a
stop
leader.
screaming,
He
screaming,
worked for
stop
this.
screaming.
Yankuba worked for this.
Sonko.
He worked with the
Nobody
pressure
has
in the
any
internet.
intention to break
No
Yankuba, you
amount of
know?
No, it's
But
not,
let him
castigation,
guys.
calm down.
nothing can
Listen.
stop
It's
Yankuba.
not.
And I want you
No,
people to
Hey,
understand that.
it's
man.
not that serious. Bio,
This
I am
dude is
telling you,
bio.
running,
this
blocking
is what
people.
the people need
Kabo
to understand.
2017 dan
Don't
kabirin
be
baronara
screaming
nyinle nyimma
every day in
sakunda
this internet.
tinya.
I
Nyimmo
want you
kilungo le
people
kafo
to
mole
understand.
janko baromanda
Every day
wulla
you
jam.
see us
Be
as
woli e
Yankuba
fonke ko
Leader.
you know they are the most
Lulu
honest and
be
radical
Yankuba
people in
Leader Nakamura.
society.
Every day.
Okay,
What's going
guys,
on?
you don't want to
Alle
listen
min
to
no
each
moli e
other.
wala no. Alle politic nalda
Every
fa
day
politic nyala anybody
why
can do
are
it.
you people so
Just like
focused
you
on
people
Yankuba
can
every
tell you
day?
Alsala life malale kumo sifa bebo. We can also do the same. We are all born and raised in this country.
Whoever disrespect him is going to block you.
Let him look.
Whoever
Let him block the
disrespect
whole
him is
world.
going to block
Let
you.
him block
We
the whole
only
world.
block people who
I
disrespect him
think I'm
because he's a
enjoying this
Let
too
leader.
him.
much.
He doesn't
Let
want
him
to
block the whole
disrespect
world.
anyone. I am
I'm
Man,
sorry,
telling you,
man.
Ahmed
I'm
Bensouda.
not
Yankuba
going to
is
stop, guys. This is
man.
dialectic
Who is
space.
this guy?
Gentle la mola nyola la, but come on.
Nena
If they want
wado
to go
wadi
at
be
it, they
kuma
can go at it.
timbalo fole me kamera momi yalan ko niyo niyo la blaje fo bite fala. What is this? Political or what? Is that
I am telling
politics?
you. Yeah, but I'm telling you, Talib, do
Let's get to the next topic, Ibrahim, bro.
you know that Talib Bensouda blocked me?
Okay, bio.
Do you
Bio.
know that Talib Ahmed Bensouda blocked me? Do you know that Talib Ahmed Bensouda blocked me? Do you know that? I am telling you that Talib Ahmed Bensouda blocked me because the problem is, if somebody doesn't want to hear the truth, whenever a man of truth speaks, this is how it always happens. And I am telling you this, and this is what you people need to understand. We cannot allow you
Khadija.
people insulting our leader every day, and you people want us to be keeping quiet. The son of Lulu, Alamul Ben and Yagon Konena, and Komoliende. Lulu, you are seeing your people. They are every day. If I go, Eko don't lie, don't steal, but you are lying. Are you not seeing that? Are you not seeing that? Every day.
Ongolo. Ongolo mbado ndaga dami mfo eje
Don't speak on
famu.
the lie.
Bio.
Are you
Bio.
not seeing that?
Ela moy
Bio.
janda
10
ba.
minutes.
Ata
Saya
ela moy
so
janda. Ntaka
if
min
you
fo.
tell them domandinka bang. Urobla, no, urobla, no. You gotta stop screaming. No, listen. My brother, my big brother. Bio. Listen. Bio. Yes, yeah, I know you're upset. Please, let's just listen to each other. Any Malmo, we can go at this for the next 30 minutes. Kasiteje. But let's just listen. No,
Let me tell you something. Omar, look, no, it's not temper. I mean, what I'm telling you is, Omar Munda Barnoldi, you understand? And like I said, I have nothing to do. I have nothing against him. But what I'm saying is, whatever he is saying, one thing I want him to understand, Yankuba is a leader. He must respect Yankuba, like the way he respects Talib Ahmed Bensouda. And whatever simple, whatever word Yankuba meant for, he mean it. And this is one thing you people need to understand. I remember for Ireland, and I am telling you, I remember for Geneva for election of the seal. I remember for Albeba Abejelal. You will all see it. I remember for you, all of you people will see it.
okay, thank you. Sign. Let's just ngalla moy nyola doron because
and whatever we are, Nali and Toluma, we are not going to fabricate anything there. The is going to be the truth, nothing but the truth.
Thank you,
Go.
Bio. Thank you.
If everything you are going to say is truth and nothing but the
Okay.
truth, tell us who attempted to bribe you. Why can't you say that? Why is that so difficult for you people to say?
Bio.
Why is it so difficult to tell people who attempted to bribe you? You think you can deceive the people of this country in this modern age and
But
time?
ni me la moy defenke no de. Omar,
This
bay
politics
Omar,
of
listen.
deception is not going to
Omar,
work.
ntole lunto mate,
No,
internet
look,
la
Moro,
lunto mate.
we've been very patient with some of the things that come out of Brikama Area Council, man. Brikama is the filthiest in the whole of this country. Nobody's talking about that. But this person continues to attack a family as if they... Is it a crime to actually want a political position? Is it a crime for Talib to actually want to be president? You
No,
attack somebody until he left your party. You continue to
sa
attack him.
ila moy mal mo la dorong na po ya jabi ila moy
Kule
dorong. How about you listen? Yes, ila moy dorong. Just listen,
Go.
Omar, go ahead.
Itanene amwele Talib kuma fo Yankuba mawa. You want me to police? You want me to police people who are not voted? They are not leaders. They are, of course, on the web like any other person to speak their opinions. Ni wole kuma fo Yankuba mami along kwa manke kusodorinde. Of course, people can actually come out and say whatever. Who do you want me? Yankuba as a leader should actually be measured in the things that he do. You cannot be coming after people the way he does. That is my view, and then nothing would actually stop my views. Even if you bring hell down on earth, it will not stop that. We got to the point that we got to tell you the truth. No. Tonya is not one-sided. Ala mantaral da maire, ala be mobile in dunia kono ja. Ala be mobile ja. Ni doko mole ko somebody try to bribe you, it becomes your responsibility to tell us who tried to bribe you. If you tell us that some people are, Unite is fraudulent and is actually involved in gold scam, tell us how Unite is involved in that.
That is not true. And I want to make this very clear.
Adole abaye. Wala mutonyati.
Talib ko, You want to leave politics immediately after 2021, 2022. Yankuba was not a chairman during that time.
Let's get on, man. I don't think Yankuba is a topic for me, bro. That's my view. It's not a topic for me, man.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
talk about people who feel like they could just random. Look, yeah, mommy malavi. I don't mean for them to nyati. Ako mommy malavi to nyala. Ola ka mol block. So I don't la mol la malavi to nyala.
It's very clear.
Fine.
Principle sort of. Is very clear. You cannot be against Barrow on something and Talib is doing it and you still want to support him.
What is Talib doing? Can you tell me that?
But Talib for the same thing. But Talib for the same thing. Talib for the
Ndaga
same
min
thing.
foi. Ongol ndaga min foi. Ila mo ha wala oman nya sa ndaga min foi.
I'm telling you, Talib. So why?
Atol la nyinyo alla nyinyo.
Boy, block can your block. Go phone is not important, guys. We have much more important things to talk about and to think about.
Talib block a lot of people.
We have serious things to talk about,
Look,
guys.
let's get on to the next topic.
But anyway,
that's
I have to leave it here, Sonko. Anyway, but I just thought quickly. Let me just clarify a point. Iko halfway what we are going to talk about. This is a current affairs show. You all know very well. Whatever is in the news, every Saturday we talk about that. And on top of that, when I made a post about it on Facebook, I indicated all the issues that we are going to talk about, even before Meduna Sonyin Kono. So Nimoje, that's not my fault. But please do not say that halfway what we are going to talk about. And if you feel any type of way, I apologize. But please do not say I did not tell you. I think that's a misrepresentation, and I wanted to clarify that. I did publicly state on my Facebook. No, I know. No, I did publicly state on my Facebook.
Now, Uncle Bula, never now Uncle invite lebe message you send la ya fire ko na topic ko munyi.
You did not tell me. You did not tell me, ko. We are going to discuss about.
I didn't tell you what we are going to talk about. Any mafwe memin kachala.
Ngo bawo nyin case is before the court. Dugara nyin case ngo tuje dugara ngara kudo. You know, it's on investigation and it's in court.
Yes.
But what I am telling you, I want to make things very clear. And then we discuss it over the private. And this is why when we came online, you made it very clear. You said we are coming to talk about NAWEC. I am not bothered, Ebrima. One should not expect the kind of topic coming in the media. And I want you to understand that for me, that is not my problem.
No, but my point is no. It's already no. I will tell you. Listen. I always tell everybody what I am going to talk about even before the show. It's not. Go to my Facebook. I'm the one who posted it. Malmo we auditor. I made a publication before the show, an hour before the show, on my Facebook of all the things we are going to talk about. Nimo read. That is your problem. That is not my problem. But I honor you enough to tag you there so that and I appreciate you coming on. But don't tell me ko imalo mimin kachala.
So this is the point. I can agree with you, ko. You posted. Very good. You posted. I did not read your post. All what I read was what you sent to me. What you sent to me. What you sent to me, I have seen the flyer. Right? I have seen the flyer. And the flyer that I have shown, we're going to discuss about now.
But if you don't read it, is that my fault now?
But it's not
Never now Uncle invite la program. Ngo, Bayo is right.
But if you don't want to talk about Talib,
you are right.
Sorry, I'm feeling Talib to invoke them.
Emanya na jela Facebook. Anyante message la
listen. Hey, Tonya fun koto mai. Afai ko.
No, enyanda message la ya fa Uncle nyin na kachala.
No,
Uncle Facebook
Uncle has the right. He doesn't have to talk about it. He has the right to say that I don't want to talk about this subject and we will not talk about it. But Uncle Lefons on the program. So Uncle cannot use as excuse. He has the right to deny or to reject any conversation we want us to have.
Let me tell you something. All what I said in your platform, and I want to make it very clear to you. And I have said it. Once I understand. And I want to make that very clear to you. But what I want to tell you, prior to the program, what I saw, the flyer you sent to me, the flyer we're going to talk about now. But in the program, when you start talking about this goal issue, if I don't want to talk about, do you know what I'm going to tell you? I don't want us to discuss about it from the beginning.
Right.
But I want Ibrima. You invite me I come to your platform.
You're my brother, bro.
You need to accord. No. Listen. You need to accord that respect to me.
Bro, I have never, bio,
Oh,
stop it.
saya lang
Bio.
mo na ungkulya pare. Ay, baro
Allah,
ungkulya pare moro.
no,
Allow him to talk.
Allah temple be
Just
flaring.
allow him to
Bio, I'm
finish.
not
Allow
gonna.
him to learn, bro.
I have never disrespected you. You know that. That's not the type of person I am, and I'm not going to. Yes. So
I never said you have ever disrespected me. I never said it, Ibrahim. I never said you have ever disrespected me. And I want to make that very clear to you. But what I am telling you, Wala Nyindiko, if you invite me here, right, and then you made a flyer, and what the flyer saw was, and what the flyer may make happened to be different, I said yes. The difference is there, but whatever you alongo, I had the will to respond to you. You did not force me to respond to you. You understand? And this is what I want to make very clear here. So if you want to bring the debacle on that issue, I don't think that is necessary. But what I am telling you, the fly is out. What is in the fly? You're going to discuss about NAWEC. But I am telling you, for us to talk about this goal issue, I did not regret whatever I have said here. And then I think you need to respect that one.
yeah, okay. I think that's fair. I respect.
If I don't want to come to your
Yes.
platform, I'm not going to come to your
Oh,
platform.
I know that,
But
bio.
you call me, you said you want to have an interview with me, and I come to your platform. In fact, I have to even, cancel a lot of activities just because to talk to you. So I can't just come here and I express my opinion, and I did not. I'm not going to be too me. I'm not going to too me. But the way you trying to push and pull with me, I don't think that's okay.
I'm sorry. Listen, let me apologize.
If it's going to be like this,
I apologize.
never come to your platform.
Oh, it's okay. Bio, listen. Let me apologize. If
You are my brother.
let me apologize. No, listen. Let me just say this publicly. Yes.
You know you are my brother. You are my brother. It's not about platform or whatsoever. Ibrahim, I hold you as a brother. I hold you. Coming like, likewise,
Yeah.
Omar. You know Omar. With all this argument, Omar Omar at the end of it, don't let diamulan, don't let kakala, but at the end of it, not a young. You understand? And that doesn't mean we're enemies. Let's make this very clear.
Listen, I appreciate you. I say that publicly, and Omar and I we always talk about it. And the fact that we even sit down for almost 2 hours, it speaks to who you are. We are not going to agree on a lot of things, but the good faith intention to dialogue, I think will come out, and we're always going to do that. But let me also publicly say that if you feel any type of way about how that went, I'm really sorry about the whole flyer stuff. Typically, it ain't no what it don't make a film for wrong. Most of the time we have conversation. But you're right. I should let you know explicitly nyanda voicemail key I should not assume that every Facebook post you read lale. So that is on me. And I'm sorry about that. But I also think that, at the end of the day, ini malmo nyantal la moy la nyola ngalon ko bari nem bari no nin see that we have to listen to each other nga nyomoy nga kachaka mi yalan ko we're going because we've wasted literally more than almost half an hour just going at it. Young Omar is going after Yankuba, ite you are going after Taliban Suda, and that is also very characteristic descriptive of Napolitico is UDP versus UMC. This thing that we keep doing
No,
over and
look.
over,
No, it's not
you know.
UDP. UDP's political leader is ANM Usainu Dabo, not Yankuba Dabo. This is what a lot of people often mischaracterize. Yankuba Dabo manke UDP la nyaton koti. Mola nyanta wala lona UDP la nyaton ko mu Usainu Dabo lati. Amanke Yankuba Dabo. So for people who think that,
But it's prominent in
look,
the party
Yankuba
too,
does
man.
not represent the UDP as far as I am concerned. If I have anything to talk about the UDP, I talk about the UDP and its party leadership and not Yankuba Dab. If I have something to talk about Brikama Area Council, I can talk about, Yankuba Dab. And if I have anything to say about Yankuba Dab and his rhetorics or whatever he says about other people, I could say that. And that does not, in my view, in any way represent the UDP. Yankuba Dabo is not the reflection of the UDP. UDP has its party leader and the party leader is ANM Dabo. Amanke Yankuba Dabo. So ikana
Okay.
mole feeling di ofen ko la kamira ko yang pada manke UDP la nyadon ko de bi amang kati sama fone sinindi ya kati de barate man kat usenu dabolom ha
Okay, bye.
wala
You
ben
want to
dabul
respond? Let's wrap up because what
eh
nin nata mas nyanda kachala te mela. Hopefully that will be a much much more relaxing conversation than this because guys, there are several parts of this
yeah
interview. Me and Uncle, they're going to clip
hey
just to make names out of it. But yes, Sonko, if you have any last comments, Ila for Minkela, then Omar Fanon can come in for us to wrap up because what
Yeah, I know. I'm comparing.
No, man come for Uncle. Uncle is not
That's
even
why
seeing me. He's just
new
thinking.
because kami number no yeah that can you MC code I knew because na Omar Lomo. Ano na Omar most tipo ano ba yan ni pula mo comparing mo kono. Iparang ka kampale. Omar ni man Omar dikot. But Omar ala abula kapula kono kapo me ya lonko jampa kapulem. Kafulen kafume ya lonko tikitinya kafulem kafulen kafume ya lonko ameke nyabo kafuti ala ya bulen no kafule kono. So basically I will try to make kata balekla pour que men ka bonda kono bala quand même fo ni bibi la ko be yankuba dabo ite ko yankuba dabo is not a reflection so yalo Omar lo mu kampa community Kabugo Yankuba Dabo is not a reflection of United Democratic Party. Omu Kamfa Kumaledi, I know I believe it does not mean that it's because of the comparing it. Be alnoko UDP la nyaton kom ala usenu leti. Be Gambia be nyabe wala kan anu UDP be nyabe wala kan. Ebrima kuma kele left of explain and I keep repeating this to the UMC members.
Ale karang woke ba kendo la bulu.
Ala usenu le munto la nyaton koti. Ndola advocacy be movement wala nyindu ko Alhaji Ousainou. Although Alhaji Ousainou dingul sotole dingul mbeli alon ko wolle ba mako kan la politiko kono. Do beje ala dingul do la kano kama wa o sati na o mari nyimbe katro fayla. Ala dingul do la kano kama. Maybe yankoba la kano kama do se katro fay. Maybe la ninsana la kano kama do se katro fay. Maybe Roy Malik la kano kama do se katro fay. Maybe la misana la kano como 285. Maybe Ahmad Sana la kano como 285. Political quality, and this is something me along people need to understand. But Omar coming for a company and on Kampato, aka kumo do for it doesn't mean that because they are local, aka mem for young, it does not mean it. At a company. So Ndolumang, we have I keep repeating this to UMC people. Ndolni manke jauti. And in fact, Lawyer Usain Dabo keeps saying this. Ntolu la problemu Adama Baroleti. Adama Barola muntola problemoti. Ntola focus mu Adama Baroleti. Itolu ben tol kanne yem tola political party o bula. Itada yela own movement olo alama baraka kaje e ma register no follow. Understand? Alama baraka kaje e ma register no follow. So say
Ito kachala boy to ndiro bla bang.
So
focus. I am telling you, I promise you this. If these people focus on their movement, they focus on their policies and agenda. These people for almost how many months? And say malo minamula agenda, malo minamula manifesto. They will keep telling you, mina launchila. That is not. I am telling you, they are blindly following an individual. Don't we have an agenda? Don't we have a manifesto? Don't we have a leader? Mayor Longo is already there. Don't practical party also. So the political party on the focus on wallet and in Adama Barrow. So near
atol Ebrima area council man karola focus today.
Jumala ka yankuba command temperament.
Wani ka to compare mol kama internet or rafale temperamental. What is wrong with that? That is a political job. That is not really an insult. Eka kamfal. I kumadandam fojang. If you also look at that, again, Ekonyoko, Ntenga Wokamfato Volokavoko Yang. Yankuba is not the party leader of the United Democratic Party. He's not. That is by fact. And then Initoko, ANM Dabo, a political leader.
And I want to make this very clear. Nyanya do jela unyabe kelal. Because Yankuba ni lawyer Usain Dabo, among Kumasi B, Yankuba Dabo.
Yo, ala internet ada.
Alata kola lawyer alata kola. Yankuba Dabo ala
Bayo, I think sa ka interesan dukare.
Aka. So Yankuba Dabo ning lawyer Usain Dabo temo manke. A temo manke politiko da madi metembo menkono. Badi yale be tema, koromole be tema, bunyale be tema, nila mole be sabero kela. Because it's very clear. I want to make this very clear. In a liberal time, if they stop talking about us, we will stop talking about Talib. And some of their other people, they call us all kind of names. If they don't stop calling us all kind of names, we are not going to end Talib la Andrea Fole. Ni telen toluma. Don't type la mala because kemo boja ya fola ko itol buka jabiro ka ko rifra fo la ka jabiro ke maybe as again on bar no bo rifra fo ko ya because of bari kemo isalon ko bar no rifra fo ko de bar no to kala no rifra fo
Bare
That's
ende jumala
crazy.
jago ko le ay ende
Bi
jumala fon jago
bi
le
bi kay bari ni wa al mala lim la
ah
mare bari. It's
ay
crazy.
ende jumala jago le mi ngeri fra fo fon fo ri fra fo lon fo mo namba bare ndo garen tetu yedu kan te mari fra
Ay
fo
tuje ay tuje fa ay tuje du kare.
but okay in an honest opinion mem ko de wala nyinte ko UMC as a political entity and this faction from BAC because I don't refer to them as UDP. They are not in my view. That's my view. And that
No bayo ay la moy le fana ya la moy bayo no bayo fana ya la
alam mo
bayo
wrong.
ibike la moy
For
de.
me, that
Koto.
faction in Brikama Area Council is not the representation and the reflection of the UDP. Kada UDP la nyaton ko inene mamu doto way kaja fira kuma for political leader manyimbanko ka. Inene mamu doto way tumire la political leader kanja. Molle bota la party kono mini yalon ko it includes even the sitting president. Aka kumo sifa be fa maraka mina fala moli ali sabare ali yal nyalong alla do ko ka. Ni to ko wala te karandi politique wala andu te yaka wala politique wala andu te bulaka wala sin no no ma atol ka baro min kan atol ka manyami wo man ke o bara nyati. At the end of the day, oppositions getting at each other within the same camp. It was all this loggerhead. Now, multate fangole is also always the same thing, and you want to make it look like you are representing the UDP. The UDP leadership is headed by an executive. What are your roles in those executives? Ning kuketa ibuka UDP la executive will jekatanye registration central tone. It's just these people who actually self appointed themselves as the regulators within the sector to actually go into this registration centers doing whatever they want to do there. Moro ali min no moli wala no yalo ndaka molla saferol gela benin nen rol nin kuma kala kumo sifa ber min yalo they are very unnecessary. At one point I even just asked the question, who actually tried to bribe this person? Wala be jebe pa nen be kumo sifa be simply for asking a simple question. What is wrong with that? But again, if you tell me that ordinary people on the web who would say one thing or another about Yankuba, we need to actually police them. Ndaka min fo nyato nko ntaka wala jibe karte fighter mini alonko, they have the mandate of the people. Let them actually speak to the people, and whatever they got to say, let it be the right thing and let it be truth and not consistent and of course persistent castigation of other people simply because they want political power. Of course, the leadership of the UDP has an executive, and those many executive members in that that is coming out of Brikama Area Council. And then for that attempt to me, Alonko, I have the belief and the conviction. If you believe that I'm on the wrong side, Alam Baraka Ken to Lakuoto, Atoli Omutaje, Ale Barako Kato Lakuoto at the council there. But of course, Alam Barako Kemin Nakuoto Moro, that actually led your party to victory. And of course, he was supported again to second victory. Whatever that you people felt, okay, he could not lead the party because of, you people thought, politically, after this time, that one what on tolom, ali telephone position what on banko mole banko dial ali banko ta. But of course, A&M Dabo is a very respectable man in this country. Moneneta kuma folama mi yalong kamanyam folama, and then he's one person that if you want to learn from, you got to politically learn from, because daju koto mankuto ranan ke barota beka ke horomo nimbunya kono la very different from what is happening at your end. Inana ma womo ya si platform to ka banendiro loke wala inana mo mo ka fo ko ñu hotal la wala comme ye batandi a political leader just as you can throw jabs ko alama baraka ken to la ko mo fanansa ko mo sifa do fo ban tol to fola, because UDP is a respectable body, but the few of you, the faction there at Brikama Area Council alal politique nya faleng ndam wala so do min fala, and then no amount of blocking or doing whatever that would stop people from talking in this country. Mbanko mbele dentala, and we are all equal in this country, and we will speak our minds just as long as we continue to exist as humans on earth. Now we will speak our minds and we will exist either politically or otherwise. Anong ko NPP ni lang tapale ya IEC mini along ko, they have no reason whatsoever to tell you na muna na fango imantele register ka. Unite had done everything it needed to do to submit its registration. Its registration papers are intact. They've paid the money they need to pay. The party color has been approved, and everything else is actually left to the IEC to take a decision. Ning ayata la ko itolo ko, they are deliberately delaying Unite. Ni wala nyinte ko alamang baraka ke wodo. Tanate wala. Para ala be mo belede. Ha. yalla ñep la fi nekkal wolon ko di bara tumirol nin ko dole min yalan ko nimbala la mol kan ala to nyani tilongo kan bara buton ni be mol fanan politico manjari fe ka daga mol ko ina judiciary does not be man ben suda kunda whatever malo mun ko be manjara la moro al nga fo mol ko minke amanke tilongo nin to nyati politically and all of that, but we cannot be sentimental and very personal about other people because we are no longer in the same political party. At the end of the day, it'll be battling.
Yeah.
Yankuba cannot love my uncle more than I. And la fila ko ngaje ko ay dunku ko nami yalon ko is not right. I'm one of his biggest defense over anywhere you can talk about. And that is what should be, because at the end of the day, that's family. But a political, our opinions would always differ. I cannot support a person of that nature. That's my political belief. And nobody can change that. But again, if you want to come at us with anything, we would also ask the relevant questions. There is
Yeah.
nobody who is actually advocate. We are no longer activists. We are all into the politics, and it's a politics of our nation. So long you people want to make it an issue of opposition versus the opposition, and it's been months and months of people neglecting and of course ignoring that, we can get at it, and then anybody can do the same. But I mean kumara wala nyente ko. Kurang man do banko ka. Ala nga nyatili man sa kundala min be siring. Ngol konti bonno. Bare ika min foko min be social media ka kumul fato la leader mo man karte fay wala karte fay da yankubale. Many ka for talib fana man tata fala wala made karte man fay wala ya fay da talib lay. But nin talib ya kuma fato la yankuba ma o yankuba ya kuma for talib ma, I will examine those ones, because these are political leaders in my view, and of course who are elected by the people, and of course have the mandate of the people and should be accountable to the people, and nothing will stop that. Accountability cannot be selective, and it cannot be one-sided. All people who are
Yeah.
voted by the masses must be accountable. And then you cannot tell us that one side can be accountable and the other cannot be.
Abaraka Baga Omar, thank you so very much for being here. Sonko Fanang, thank you so much for being here. We'll have to leave it here because what OTJ, I need to. Uh-huh.
I need to make it very clear.
But please, can you be very brief? Nkoto, only one thing. I don't want us to spend a lot more time. Nyanda,
I'll be very brief.
nila nila. Mhm.
That is completely misleading. Kabuko, yeah, you DP executive member Jumala Meya Lonko Akata registration center soldo, trying to see the efforts of Yankuba ko Itamic registration center so fight it and that is completely misleading because
The more for the fight
is the
and the
kingdom
more for the
master for West Coast.
yalong Ebrima kumo
And
do for jane
being
kay
the
ko ma fa
chairperson of
mo
West Coast,
more for the
I am very
mam ni
sorry.
fight
No,
and for
Omar
law
Kamovo.
more for
Omar Kamovo. Akamovo.
more for
Sonko. Akamovo.
No, I know,
ah
no. But
go aro Brigama era cancel aro la ka wala ka registration center al ni wala ka al da mala ka
Jumana
raji
ka registration center sol.
adon Brigama ngol
Jumana ka registration center sol. Yang kuma bento, yang
Brigama
kuma
ngol
ka registration center sol. And I want to
the self-appointed regulator.
executive role because let me tell you understand. You play executive role. You play executive role. All of them they do co and they all have a job to do.
So I don't know do ko mo
Be
pur
the
ka
chairperson
registration
for West
center.
Coast and the West Coast kasi file ya di ano vitamina file tele ate panang mo mi alonko nim dem de presidential la katro mina
Yeah.
file fana yele.
But I say fenge I don't di
Let
fo
be the
fo
case
fo
and I
faji kunda be
submit to
West Coast
key
le ba fenge
kanjabo
I don't di
kasi
mendembe
registration
dami mendembe dami fo West Coast le
likewise
mende.
when
Sorry, kuna.
dim disane
Ko
be
ni ne mo tangundi wai
when dim
fo
disane
ma
be
mendembe dami fo West
also
Coast.
the same thing. He also did the monitoring.
Apa ko be
Amanda
bala
often
ni wala.
likewise our other senior executive members. So I can remember Kafoko, our senior executive members will mantara kadanyang IC recall to Yakuba Kadao just to show off. I mean that is something
I never said so off.
Omar say
Ma for fight and you man so off for jam more for jam.
You understand? Likewise, ala munyo dolu. Mili along with the UMC. You understand?
When
So
ndanga kuma kende jamala fo yankuba mo jam.
debate between
Nde
UMC and UDP, or a debate
ndanga
between
kuma kende
Sonko
jamala
and
fo ma
Omar.
jam.
Because Omar
Eh.
is not here as a spectator
No.
or as a co-host. Omar Bejane to debate with me about UMC to be the defense force of UMC. But anyway, it was a great conversation.
Mhm.
And then one thing I want to say to Omar Ole Nyuduko, Ndolu na nyaton ko, me alo ko dem A and Daboti, Dolbe Ole no ma B, Dolbe Ole no ma Sama, and that is why there was no amount of pressure. Me atina me alon ko kafo ko molle tel bul hatan the party political the party obula no. We have to stay in the party because we believe in the party. We
Ato
believe in
ato
the
la kalbo party. Ato la kalbo
we
party.
believe in
Bulala.
the
You
leadership
people
of the
actually
party.
threaten
And
the party. You threaten the party that you will exit.
Nko, no, okay, sign, I can't, guys, I can't tell it.
You
It's
gotta
2
go,
hours.
man.
Bio. Nko to. Bilal wat na muso be mbulala na ma hakilo. Bilal wallahi taala. Okay, Omar Tatale. Omar Tatale in the Marabijan sign. So I just want to wrap it up. Yes.
Nobody push out anybody.
Yes. Ngafule Omar Tatale. Omar Tatale.
Omar funding quality. You understand? And Omar now for no amount of Nala Sonko. Then be na kundindila. No amount of Nala Sonko. Because Naka Kachale, Mole Meal Lonko, I love him personally. So and then there's no amount of Nabe Mengela push and pull. But one thing I want to make very clear to you, Ebrima, what you to call? Ning UM Sinko left and Tolkana Diamula Kola. If a fatal and Tolmane, ye fataka kumomen for Molma ye fatawola. I don't borrow president. The Gambian call Bela focus to Adama Baroti. Ni itoli focus to Adama Barokan. Itoli falande focus to Adama Damalakan. But come and Gamamo go ha. I mean, because you couldn't call them Gambia Mahu Mulman Diamad. But I am part of the people man we keep talking about it because it really concerns us.
Yeah.
So don't let focus take a monster kundality. Don't let focus on moment when don't lie, don't steal, job right. For your people, if they really want change, what I am saying, what you go, you pattern toluma, you pattern Panyal and Tolka, you pattern Kumul Fon Tolma, Mansado, no, we are going to put. Thank you so much.
Boy, Abaraka Babake, thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. And again, for me, I like this. To sit down to have conversations, even though sometimes it comes out as people are screaming at each other. I think that's the essence. Ultimately, it's just being a new faham where we're coming from, and also understand that Gambia is worth all of these conversations, right? So, for those of you who may think that it's been over the top today, I'm really sorry. That's not the intention. But personally, I enjoy these conversations, and that's why I created this platform because I think we need to have dialogue. Can things be better? Absolutely. Can we listen to each other more? Absolutely. Do we get everything right? Certainly not. But that's the essence, is the ability to understand that you could be wrong, but not to try to politicize everything and to make it look like Dolom against other people. Wala nyimpati kara ni nyimpati kara. No, we're going to talk to everybody here. It doesn't matter how you judge us from outside, but everybody has a voice and everybody has an opinion. And it's okay to be political, it's okay to be partisan, but we just have to be honest and have honest conversation. So, again, for those of you who may feel some type of way, I'm sorry, but this is important. We need to have these conversations. I love Malmo, I love Sonko, and they're all my brothers, and they will be back on this platform again. So, all of you in the comment section, thank you. Atol Miyalanko, you're watching on YouTube. Please subscribe. I just want to make a personal plea to everybody on Facebook. Please go to my Facebook and subscribe and support what we're doing. It would mean a whole world to me if you subscribe to my YouTube and put the notification on. Please, once again, I want to indulge all of you to go to YouTube and subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you if you go and subscribe and also have the notification on. It will mean the world to me. And finally, Natamas would be my guest at 10 p.m. Gambian time, brother Natamas. And you can see the difference in terms of the conversation that's going to happen. This is a Bantaba. Bantaba kacha nyanda kela tentine. It should not be worse than this. Anyanda kela tentine. So this is different. But I'm going to have a conversation with Nata later, and we're going to talk about a lot of the work that he's been doing for so long. And he has very important perspectives to share. So I invite all of you, Talanta and Gambian time, to join us in that conversation. Until then, I look forward to seeing you all